Okay, everybody, welcome into the high noon edition of, the streams that I do. I do 2 streams a day. The first one comes on here at high noon. The second stream that we do here is called Pillow Talk. And that one, not tonight. We're not going to do 2 tonight because that's a Friday. Pillow Talk with myself and James Parker airs on the stream Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. This one, the one you're tuned into, they're not tuned in. You got to stop using broadcast lingo. This one that you're watching via stream, it doesn't really have the same ring. This airs Monday through Friday, high noon. We call it high noon because that's when we do it. See how that works out? Symmetry. It's about topics. We do topics, current events, trending topics, headlines, anything that's happening in the world. We like to cover it here. We give you what I like to call a nice little cheat sheet for your day so you know all the stupid things people are talking about. And that's pretty important there, that qualifier. Stupid things. This is not, we don't get into divisive politics. We don't do any kind of religion. We don't do stuff like that. Although I have been known to wax poetic on my own views from time to time, but it's really not any sort of a cornerstone of the show. All right. Let's see here. Hi, Byron. Byron is the first in. We got Tom Beller. Tom Beller, spring break is here. Yeah, the big folks. I do this show here from the Comfort Nest Guest House Lounge, where I spend a lot of my time. I realized this the other day. I don't do much, except on weekends like this, which is a weekend with my kid where the boy is going to be coming here. And oh man, do we have a weekend planned. It is your Irish before Texan weekend. We're going to go to the St. Pat's Parade, the Dallas Parade, a parade that he has been to before, but I don't know that he remembers because I took him to it once when he was like 2 years old. We were in a stroller. Yeah. So he probably doesn't remember that. But we're going to get some corned beef, probably. I don't know. Probably. I went to the Kroger and I tried to buy corned beef the other day. None of it looked good. It was still like it was packed. There were like hundreds of them. I'm looking at them. I'm like, Kroger brand corned beef. Oh man, I don't know if I can make my wang dang dilly of a corned beef dinner with Kroger brand corn. I don't know. It just didn't look right. It didn't look like the corned beef that I'm used to, going to the Irish butcher shop and getting a corned beef, maybe a smoked butt. That's right. That's a thing. Smoked butt. It's like it's a meat and you cook it and you serve it with potatoes and carrots and nothing else because the Irish struggled. Meal's not supposed to be necessarily. And you have soda bread. You ever had soda bread? It's awful. It is terrible. But again, it's because the Irish people were under the thumb of the Brits and they didn't have anything nice. So that's pretty much what the Irish meal is going to be. And he likes corned beef. Like he likes corned beef when it gets Jewishified, when it's on a sandwich, when it's on a sandwich with some cheese and some rye bread, some nice fine Jewish or Russian rye bread. He pretends to he goes along with it, because he knows the corned beef is a very big, important thing in my life. And so he goes along with it, but he doesn't love it. Anyway, big weekend. We're going to watch Michael Collins. That's right. I'm going to make him watch Michael Collins. I think that's going to happen tomorrow night after the parade. Michael Collins, such a great movie. Liam Neeson, Julia Roberts, Aidan Quinn, about the George Washington of Ireland, Michael Collins. So we got a big weekend. I'm very excited. And it's cold, boy. It is cold here in North Texas. It is St. Patrick's weekend parade weather here in Texas. Normally, every other time that I'd been to the Dallas St. Patrick's Day Parade, which is fantastic, by the way, totally meets with my 100% Irish approval. It is fantastic. The largest in the southeastern United States, don't you know? And I don't know how we designate ourselves as southeastern. We're like central south, but whatever. They expect like 300. Sorry, that's the Southside Irish Parade. I was reading things this morning about all the different parades. Like 150,000 people, man, gonna show up for this thing. Toadies are going to play. I don't know that we'll be checking that out. Although I'd like to. Here's the thing. I don't know those guys anymore. Like I used to know those guys. And it would be cooler if I could take my kid to a Toadies show when we like know the band, you know. But you don't know somebody after 10 years. It's like, hey, that's not going to work. So I don't know that we're going to be like in the middle of a mosh pit. Although he may enjoy that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see how we're going to go. I'm not going to drink. Don't worry about that. Don't be like, oh, what, are you going to get drunk? No, that's not in the cards anymore. Did you know that my son, my 12-year-old son, has never seen me drunk? He said that to me once. He said that to me about a year ago when we were on a road trip and we stopped and I had a beer and he goes, I don't think I've ever seen you have a beer. And I go, and it's not by design. It's like, it's just, I just don't ever drink when I'm around him. I mean, I'll have a beer. I like my Jameson whiskey, on that. And I said, what are you talking about? Like, I was actually kind of like wigged out by it. I'm like, what do you mean you've never seen me have a beer? You must have seen me have a beer. He goes, no. He goes, I've never seen you drunk. And I'm like, well, how many other like parental units have you seen drunk? No, I didn't ask him that. But from that point on, I was like, oh, wow. Okay. All right, let's see how long we can keep this string alive where my son has never seen me drunk. You've seen me high. You don't know it, but you've seen me high. But yeah, I guess he's never seen me drunk, which is, so we're going to do a parade the way a parade is designed for kids. So I'm very excited about this weekend. Very excited. All right, we got Kevin in here. We got Adam in here. We've got Tom. We said Tom misses the Southside Irish Parade. Oh my God, so do I. We're going to talk parades because parades are trending. So parades are one of the subjects that we're going to talk about today because this is the first year after a whole bunch of years of the coronavirus where all the parades are returning. Woo! Good times. So we're going to get into all that. We're going to give you the latest news on Russia. We're going to talk about some brands that are rebranding themselves so that they don't seem quite so Russian. We're going to mention Jussie. I've got some information on Kelly Clarkson's divorce and all the money she's got to pay this guy. Texas Supreme Court is doing something. Two other countries that are nuclear powers are, in a bit of a kerfuffle at the moment. We'll talk about that. Bryan Adams is in the news, and it cuts like a knife. He's in the news. Oh, and more of our childhood is dying. Oh, also, baseball is back. Oh, God. I know I'm like one of 15 people left in this country who still love the great game. But baseball is back. And they've made some changes. And we'll be talking about that as well. So we'll get into all that, plus a whole bunch more things, headlines, stuff that's trending. But first, let's talk about what makes today so great. Today is March the 11th. It is the 70th day of the year. 295 days remain until the end of the year. New Year's Eve plans. Get them started. What is today the day of? All right, so let's talk about what we're supposed to be honoring today. Why is today such a day? Today is the day of, drum roll, it's National 311 Day, National 311 Day. Oh, is that because, wait. Is that a designated call number, or is that just because it's the date, because it's 311? What does 311 do? Is if you dial, like I know 411 used to be information. Is that still a thing? We don't need information anymore now that everybody has Google. 911, we know what that is. On 311 Day, National 311 Day offers an annual reminder that 311 is a resource for communities around the country to connect with their city and non-emergency services. The 311 system is the non-emergency number to call in many cities across the country for residents to report issues, find out about city services, and ask questions. There you go. I don't know what 311 is because I don't want to deal with any local bureaucracy unless, there's somebody breaking into my house at 4 o'clock in the morning. And in that case, I would call 911. But, if you need to know when the congressman is speaking at the local pancake breakfast, I guess 311 might be your resource. I don't know. Oh, is that the one you call for digging? If you're going to dig in your yard, you got to call a number first. And then they tell you like whether or not you can dig there. Hi, Jeff. Jeff says, oh, Lord, if the Texas Supreme Court is doing something, it's undoubtedly moving us one step closer to becoming Gilead. Well, Jeff ain't gonna be happy. That's for damn sure. Although Byron might. We've got all kinds represented in the chat room. I appreciate that. I like that we've got all kinds. Today is also National Funeral Director and Mortician Recognition Day. Okay, all right. What was that? A little pop-up. That's fine. That's fine. They can have their day. Do you know, I knew a girl when I was growing up. Well, not growing up. This was like this was in college. But she was dating a friend of mine, and she was really, really hot. She was like she was a hot girl. All right, pop-ups. I've about had it with you. I'm gonna shut you up. And she was really fun, and she was attractive, and she was one of the cool girls to go out and party with because she always brought all of her hot friends along. It was a really good situation. Except she was studying to be a mortician. And we just thought that was so weird. It's like, you can't be a hot mortician. That's not that, because she wants to deal. So, okay. So she seems like super cool and all that stuff. And she wants to be around dead we need to look into that. There's something going on there. I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a funeral director. I couldn't be a mortician. I can't be around death. Not a thing for me. But if it is a thing for you, it's your day. So celebrate appropriately. It's National Johnny Appleseed Day. Johnny Appleseed. Was he real? He wasn't real, right? Was he real? I don't know. Was he like Paul Bunyan? I don't know. Is he real? Let's find out. March 11th, National Johnny Appleseed Day. We remember a man who made apple and pear trees bloom across the nation. The day celebrates a kindly legend who lived by sage teachings and labored to bring the shade of fruit trees across much of the United States. I was a real guy. His name was John Chapman. He was born on September 26, 1774. Seems like September 26th should be Johnny Appleseed Day, but hey, who am I? Let's see here. Not much is known about his early life other than his mother died when he was 2. Well, that seems like a rather specific thing to know if you don't know anything else. His father packed up Johnny and his sister and moved to Springfield, Massachusetts. His father served as a Minuteman and fought at Bunker Hill. Then in 1797, Johnny Chapman shows up in northwestern Pennsylvania, propagating his apple seeds. He worked his way steadily into the frontier of West Virginia, Ohio, and Indiana. Eventually, Chapman became known as Johnny Appleseed. He then worked his way as far west as Illinois and Iowa, and as far north as Michigan and Wisconsin. So he was a seed seller. He wasn't this like... So the idea of Johnny Appleseed that I got was he was just like a hobo who worked his way across the country, and he would just drop apple seeds, and everywhere he went, trees grew, which now that I say it out loud sounds like complete bullshit. Obviously, he was a seed seller. In his wake, he left orchards and the teachings of Emanuel Swedenborg, a Swedish spiritual leader. Oh, God. He was like, here, have an apple. Do you know Jesus? Oh, God. I guess that's fine. Appleseed would buy his books with whatever payment he might receive for his endeavors. In turn, Johnny would give the books away as he traveled and planted. Mostly, though, he planted his seeds and seedlings for free, along with his wisdom. Yeah. His broad-brimmed pasteboard hat keeping the sun from his... Okay, this guy, I don't know why did this guy get remembered? What, we weren't going to have apple seeds without him? Is that what we're going with? Pretty sure we'd had apples without Johnny Appleseed or Johnny Chapman. It's also National Oatmeal Nut Waffle Day. Again, absurdly specific. When is National Waffle Day? When is National Oatmeal Raisin Waffle Day? This is stupid. Although I would say that an oatmeal nut waffle might be good. It's National Promposal Day. I guess that would be right, because you got to give the girl a chance to get a dress and stuff, right? Is that what this is, or is this something else? Is this some Let's see what National Promposal Day. March 11th, National Promposal Day prompts the ultimate question each year. Will you go to prom with me? It's the day for high school students across North America to craft their unique invitation to the event of the year. Prom takes a lot of planning. That includes finding the right tux. No. It doesn't take a lot of planning for the guy. The guy goes to the formal wear store in the mall and he rents a tux. The girl, it's a much bigger to-do. Does mom teach you how to dance? No, hopefully. That's weird. Do you borrow dad's car or rent a limo? I'm guessing kids today rent a limo or Uber. Those are just a few of the details, but that's getting ahead of the plan. First, ask the question on March 11th, National Promposal Day. Whatever. I imagine kids today now have this incredibly elaborate way of asking people to prom. We learned about the mum situation in Texas from James the other day, which is also absurd. But hey, whatever. Kids got to have their fun some way, as long as they're not doing the drugs and having the unprotected sex. Although, Promposal Day, let's not kid ourselves. It is also March 11th, National Worship of Tools Day. I don't know what that means. Hey, that sounds weird. All right, so we're just going to move on. There you go. What happened on this day? Well, let's move in with Adam Rayna. He says, I dropped like a pound on my kids on Yoka. I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm out of sync. Jeff says, sometimes out of the blue, my kid will bring me a beer. This is about me, my kid saying he's never seen me drunk. Sometimes out of the blue, my kid will bring me a beer. Then I say, I thought you might want one. But while I was in there, I noticed we are out of soda. Kevin says, I thought he spreads his seeds metaphorically because he was a womanizer. You get a rim shot on that one. Ed says, was that true? No, Ed, you wouldn't have known the mortician girl. Her name was Lindsay. You wouldn't have known her. She was from the Southside. Jeff Glenn says, what else? Oh, here, you know what I didn't do? I didn't make it so I can read all the chats. Let me fix that. Let me fix it so I can read the ones that. Jeff Glenn says morticians don't get nearly enough recognition. I mean, no shit, even I have my own day. What's your day? Oh, that's right. Your day was. I'm sorry, Jeff. I forget. That, the ramp up to Jeff Glenn Day is just, there's so much preparation that goes into it. It's all you think about, and then you totally forget the day after. That's all right. We'll remember. Tom says 811 is the digging number. If you got a dig in your yard, that's who you call. All right, let's get back into it. All right, on this day in 1861, during the American Civil War, the Constitution of the Confederate States of America is adopted. That's right. That's the day all them traitors decided they didn't want to be with us no more, and that's fine. That's fine. On this day in 1945, during World War II, the Imperial Japanese Navy attempts a large-scale kamikaze attack on U.S. Pacific Fleet, anchored in Ulithi Atoll. Okay, I don't know. Kamikazes, man, that's a freaky thing. Talk about the brainwashing that goes into that. So you're going to send me out to this area where our enemy is, but you're only going to give me enough gas to get out there. And then my plane's going to run out of gas, and then I'm expected to crash it. Okay, gotcha. I don't know if that's... Were they told? What's the deal with kamikazes? Were they told that they only had enough gas? I don't know. Let's see. In 1977, this is something I never heard of. The Hanafi Siege. Did you ever hear of the 1977 Hanafi Siege? Sounds like something we should know about. Around 150 hostages are held in Washington, D.C. by Hanafi Muslims. They are set free after ambassadors from 3 Islamic nations join the negotiations. Let's learn a little bit about this. I've never heard of the Hanafi Siege. Maybe because nobody died. Maybe. The 1977 Hanafi Siege occurred between March 9th and March 11th, 1977, when 3 buildings in Washington, D.C. were seized by 12 Hanafi movement gunmen. The gunmen were led by Hamas Abdul Khalasi, who wanted to bring attention to the murder of his family in 1973. They took 149 hostages. After a 39-hour standoff, the gunmen surrendered and all remaining hostages were released from the district building. Okay. The gunmen did kill somebody. They killed 24-year-old Maurice Williams, a radio reporter from WHUR-FM who stepped off a 5th-floor elevator into the crisis. Oh, my God. The gunman also shot D.C. Protective Services Division police officer Mark Cantrell, who died in the hospital a few days later of a heart attack. Then councilman and future 4-term Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry walked into the hallway after hearing a commotion and was hit by a ricocheted shotgun pellet, which lodged just above his heart. And that's why he smoked crack. He was taken out through a window and rushed to a hospital. The gunmen had several demands. They wanted the government to hand over a group of men who had been convicted of killing 7 relatives, mostly children. They wanted those that were convicted of killing Malcolm X released from prison. They also demanded that the premiere of Mohammed, Messenger of God, be canceled. What is that, a movie? And the film destroyed because they considered it sacrilegious. Time magazine noted that the toll was not higher, in part a tribute to the primary tactic U.S. law enforcement officials are now using to thwart terrorists: patience. Patience was why. But most of all, perhaps it was due to the courageous intervention of 3 Muslim ambassadors: Egypt's Ashari Gorbal, Pakistan's, not even going to try that name, and Iran's Ardeshir Zahadi. Okay, so there you go. So now we know. Now we know about that. Never heard of it before, but apparently there was some gunplay involved and people passed. On this day in 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev is elected to the position of General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, making Gorbachev the USSR's final head of state. He was replaced by Boris Yeltsin, who was the first democratically elected president, or whatever. I don't even know how that works over there. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. On this day in 2020, the World Health Organization declares the COVID-19 virus epidemic a pandemic. That's very, very interesting. Now they're saying we have to start calling it an endemic. So we went from epidemic, which is something that just breaks out in a specific region, to a pandemic, which is something that breaks out all over the globe, to now it's in its, well, they say, I don't know if we really are. We just had a new variant drop, so who knows? But now they say we are in the endemic state of the coronavirus, which means that you just got to live with it. It's just going to be here. It's never going away. We're not going to kill it off. It's endemic, like seasonal flu or something. Okay, let's do some birthdays. Celebrating a birthday today. Excuse me. Celebrating a birthday today. Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch. Depending on, you know what? It shouldn't be depending on, unless you're in Rupert Murdoch's family. He's a bad guy. He's not a good guy. Nobody gets, how old is he? 1931. Okay, so 70, 80, 90, 91, 92, minus 1. 91. Is that right? Wait, 70, 80, 90, 89, 90, 91. He's 91. Happy, well, actually, I hope you have a shitty 91st birthday there, Rupert Murdoch. Born on this day, Bobby McFerrin. Don't worry, be happy. That's it. That's all we need to know about Bobby McFerrin. That's it. Remember, didn't he play his body? Here's a little song I wrote. We never hear that song anymore. Never hear that song anymore. I can't tell you well, you all just heard me do it, but I can't tell you the last. That song has been completely usurped by that new song, Happy, with, Pharrell. Come on, get happy, or whatever that's. I don't even know how that song goes, but I know how Don't Worry, Be Happy goes. Okay, so there you go, Bobby McFerrin. Also born on this day, same day as Bobby McFerrin, Jerry Zucker, American director, producer, screenwriter, one of the Zucker brothers, one of the guys, I'm telling you, before the Farrelly brothers, there were the Zucker brothers. What did the Zucker brothers do? Well, what did Jerry Zucker, what was he involved in? Well, let's see. Jerry Zucker draft. No, I'm not going to do it, but we could do it. Kentucky Fried Movie, Airplane, Top Secret. Top Secret is Val Kilmer, so underrated. Top Secret is so funny. Ruthless People, the Naked Gun movies. He did Ghost. And then he did First Night and Rat Race, which really weren't that big. As a producer, he did My Best Friend's Wedding. He did Unconditional Love, Fair Game, Friends with Benefits, Mental. As executive producer, he did all the Naked Gun movies and something called Brain Donors. So there you go. There you go. Happy birthday, Jerry Zucker. You are one funny guy. Man, those if you're not old enough to remember, when those Airplane movies came out, they were like a whole different kind of comedy. A kind of comedy that is really specific to Jim Abrams, who was the director, and the Zucker brothers. We didn't really, I mean, where else have you seen that style of comedy? I mean, it's so stupid, but so funny. Airplane movies and the Naked Gun movies. That's it. That's Jerry Zucker. I bet you he'd be fun. You can't be involved in that kind of stuff without being just naturally really fun and silly. Also born on this day, a personal hero of mine, a guy that I just love. I love this guy. Born on this day in 1953, Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine. That's right. American record producer, businessman. Most recently, I guess his big thing was Beats, created Beats with Dr. J, made $1 billion when they sold it to Apple. Jimmy Iovine is a really interesting guy. First of all, there's a tremendous documentary series on HBO about Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre together, and I don't remember what it's called. Someone in the chat room will know. It's called Mavericks? No, whatever. Anyway, it's really good. And here's what you need to know about Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine was just a kid from like a working class family in New York, and he got a job sweeping up, like just because he didn't have any direction in life. He wasn't really doing anything. So he got a job sweeping up at the record plant, which is a very famous New York, although it wasn't famous when he got a job there. It was just a record studio. The Defiant Ones, that's it, Adam. Thank you. The Defiant Ones, the HBO series about Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. The record plant in New York City, which would, of course, go on to be one of the most famous record recording studios in the history of rock and roll. But Jimmy Iovine was just a guy who was sweeping up there. And on Easter morning one year, he got a phone call from the guy who runs it. It was Easter morning, and Jimmy came from a very, Catholic, Italian, that kind of family. So Easter's a big deal. And the family was all coming over, and he was just a kid, like 18 years old. And he got a call on Sunday morning, and they said, look, we need somebody to come in and open up the record plant because we got somebody who wants to come in. And he's like, on Easter? Somebody wants to come in on Easter? He's like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing, man? I'm just the guy that sweeps the floors. And they're like, well, yeah. Nobody wants to do it. It's Easter. Can you just let these people in and, just help them out? They're going to do everything they need to do, whatever, just hang out there. And I know it's Easter, but come on, kid, this is how you make it in the business. So begrudgingly, he was like, all right, whatever. I guess I'm low man on the totem pole. Sorry, Mom, I'm going to have to skip Easter. I got to go. All you do is you sweep up at the floor. Why you got to leave on Easter? Your families are coming. It's that whole thing. And he's like, well, whatever. Gets in the train. He goes down there and he opens up the place. And it's John Lennon. John Lennon was the guy who on Easter Sunday felt like he wanted to record some stuff. So Jimmy Iovine ended up spending the entire day with John Lennon. And lo and behold, John Lennon took a liking to the kid, and now he's Jimmy Iovine. Telling you, man, they call you into work. Yeah, you go in, you take it. You never know what the opportunity is going to be. Easter Sunday. Happy birthday, Jimmy Iovine. You're now worth billions. Also born on this day, Anissa Jones. Anissa Jones. I mentioned her only because I didn't know who it was, so I clicked on it, and I'm like, oh, wow. Anissa Jones, born on this day in 1958. She died in 1976. You know who she was? Okay, so for all of my fellow old heads out there, she played Buffy on Family Affair. Do you guys remember Family Affair? Family Affair, Mr. French. Family Affair was like a show in the very early days of the 70s and syndication, where if you stayed home from school, you would probably that was the theme. And it was the story of these two kids whose parents obviously died tragically, and they never addressed it. These two kids who had to go live with their uncle, Uncle Bill. I think it was Uncle Bill. Uncle Bill was played by Brian Keith, and Uncle Bill was like this rich. It's kind of like Different Strokes. He was like this rich, New York guy, and he was a swinging bachelor in the 70s, and he was a businessman, and all this stuff. He didn't have time for these two little kids that were suddenly thrown into his life, because there was obviously some tragic family situation that occurred, and Uncle Bill sucked it up and he went, all right, fine, I'll raise these two little kids. And Uncle Bill didn't really raise the kids. Uncle Bill was just dating and doing business deals and all that. But he had a butler named Mr. French, Sebastian Cabot. And Sebastian Cabot, he basically raised Buffy and Jody. Buffy was the girl and Jody was the boy. And it was a good show. I liked it when I was little. It was Anissa Jones, born on this day in 1958. She played Buffy. Now, I didn't know this about her until just this morning. She died. She was one of these tragic childhood stars who passed away. So let's find out how she died. Shortly before noon on August 28th, 1976, after partying in the beach town of Oceanside, California with her new boyfriend, Alan Butch Coven, and others, Jones was found dead in a bedroom of a house belonging to the father of a 14-year-old friend named Helen Hennessy. All right, 76. So how old was she? She was born, what year was she born? I forgot what year she was born already. 70, well, Wikipedia will tell me. 18. She was only 18 years old. 18 hanging out with a 14-year-old. That's a little strange, but okay, we'll overlook it. During the final moments when Jones was alive, others at the party ranged in age from 12 to 22. Okay, that's weird. 22-year-olds hanging out with 12-year-olds. The coroner's report listed Jones' death as a drug overdose, and it was later ruled accidental. She was on cocaine, PCP, Quaaludes, and Seconal. They were all found in her body during the toxicology exam. Police report also indicated a small vial of blue liquid next to Jones at the scene, which was never identified. Jones was given a small private service. She was cremated. Well, that's sad. 6 days after Jones' death, Dr. Don Carlos Mochos was arrested and charged with illegally prescribing Seconal to Jones. All right, drug addict. Well, not drug addict, drug overdose. You don't want to say drug addict because you don't know. That's too bad. She was such a cute little kid. Even me as like a little 5-year-old, I was looking at her going, she was cute. I can tell she's cute. I can tell. Which is probably, I shouldn't even distinguish that as being odd, because I think that's probably the only age that you're allowed to think that another 7-year-old is cute, is when you're in that age range. Anyway, she died. Happy birthday, Anissa Jones. You are missed. Here's another big birthday here. Talk about somebody who's missed around these parts. Vinnie Paul, born today in 1964. Boy, that was what that guy was like for my first stint here in Texas. I mean, especially after Daryl, his brother, Dimebag, died. Vinnie Paul, of course, drummer for Pantera. Rock icon in that genre, bigger than life, quiet guy. He always reminded me of Silent Bob from Jay and Silent Bob. Multiple business owner here in town. You could walk in and you could see Vinnie Paul at any number of his establishments. Yeah, I'm talking about strip clubs. He owned a lot of strip clubs and restaurants and stuff like that. He was a nice guy. There was a big problem that occurred between the radio station that I was at, Live 105.3, and the Pantera guys. And the problem was that after Dimebag was horrendously murdered on stage. Oh God, what a sad day that was. One of the people at our radio station did a very public joke, and it was, I don't know, some say it was misinterpreted as being a lampoon of what had happened to Dimebag on stage. I don't know. But it was at a station event, and Vinnie was there because Vinnie and Daryl were fans of the station. And it was, like I said, it was like the first time that Vinnie had come out since his brother had been murdered. And this thing went down, and there was a big hubbub about the station. About, oh, Vinnie Paul, and this station is now persona non grata from anything that Vinnie Paul or Pantera does around town. And they were powerful guys. They were powerful celebrities. They were like the Pantera guys, man. They were very visible. They were you could see them everywhere. They commanded a lot of respect and high regard in Dallas. And for a station like us, it wasn't good that we could no longer have anything to do with any of those guys. Not only that we couldn't have anything to do with them, but it was basically put down that if anybody representing 105.3 were to show up at anywhere public where there was something Pantera oriented, that we would all receive beatdowns. We would get basically the shit kicked out of us by Pantera Army, and you don't F with the Pantera Army in this town, man. They were, especially back in the day, they were everywhere, and they were scary. But for the longest time, we were on good terms with them, and so everything was wonderful. And socialized with those guys, and partied with those guys, had fun with those guys. And then suddenly it was like, nope, you got to. If you're from 105.3, and for me, I was a single guy. I was out about town. I was going places. I hung out places. I would be places, and there was a real concern. The station had an all hands meeting saying, okay, so you're not allowed to go to Clubhouse anymore. Any of you people, we're not doing business with them. You're not allowed to go here. You're not allowed to do that. And it was really a thing. And then very shortly after the incident, a guy who I was friends with, who was a tech for Pantera, or at that point, I guess it was Damage Plan, who was a tech for Pantera, came up to me at the Improv, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. This is not going to be good. I'm going to get blamed because this other guy did a thing. Well, I didn't do nothing. And he sat down and he said, look, man, I just want you to know that Vinnie knows that you and Kelly had nothing to do with all of this and that you guys are fine. Oh God. I was like, thank God. And then shortly after that, I ended up at the Clubhouse, and Vinnie, he was like a mob boss. Vinnie Paul was like a mob boss in this town, in the back room, hanging out at the Clubhouse. Oh, I had showed up with Jim Florentine. That's it, the comedian Jim Florentine. He had done his set at the Improv, and then we went over to the Clubhouse. And I'm like, I don't know about this. I mean, I know that the one dude told me it was okay. And Vinny's like, oh, don't worry about it. Florentine's got that deep. Don't worry about it, Pugs. Come on, man. They love me. I'm good with them. I do the metal show. We're good. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we were there, and it was a little bit weird. And it was a good thing when we walked in and they didn't charge us a cover. They were like, you guys can go right through. And then Jim is like, is Vinny here? And they're like, yeah, Vinny's in the back. So we walk in and we're standing there, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. So one guy said something nice to me, but I don't know how this is going to go down. I'm not going to get beat up here. This ain't going to be good. And then the manager walks over and he goes, hey, Pugs, Vinny wants you and Jim to come over and sit at his table. And I was like, oh, thank God. And we sat there and we spent all night just drinking and hanging out and laughing and having fun, and nothing was mentioned about nothing. It was like nothing had ever happened. So that's my recollection of Vinnie Paul. I liked Vinnie Paul. I thought Vinnie was a nice guy, and I really appreciated that he didn't hold me and Kelly responsible for the actions of another show that we had nothing to do with. So happy birthday, Vinnie. You are missed. Vinnie dropped out of a heart attack. Just, man, he was young too. Just came out of nowhere, killed him in 2018. The late, great Vinnie Paul. Jeff wants to know, why do your Vinnie Paul and Lucy impressions sound the same? That wasn't Vinnie Paul. That was Jim Florentine. That's my Jim Florentine. That's not Vinnie Paul. That's Jim. Byron says it sounds like Alex Jones. Well, it's because I don't have the beautiful mellifluous bass tone that a Jim Florentine so effortlessly puts out. I can't do that. Jeff says the intersection of bad taste and bad timing. And then he suggested it sounds like the Russ Martin show to him. Yeah, it was. It was them. I mean, I don't speak ill of the dead in any regard, but yeah, it was. Oh, Ed tells me that Sissy, who was another member of the Family Affair. Now I got that theme stuck in my head. He says, don't forget about Sissy. Did Sissy OD too? Sissy was like the oldest one who was kind of like a teenager. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so happy birthday, Vinny. Happy birthday, Buffy from Buffy and Jody. And Terence Howard. Oh, boy, look at this. Celebrating a birthday today, the day after his TV son gets sentenced to jail. Terence Howard, of course, the star of Empire. He was the star of... he's in a bunch of stuff. I like Terence Howard, although I think I'm not supposed to like him because I think he was accused of beating his wife. But I don't know how that played out, so I just know that I like him as an actor. And I really liked him as the star of the Fox series Empire. So he's having a birthday today. Happy birthday, Terence Howard, born on this day in 1969. Born on this day in 1985, Greg Olsen, American football player, first round pick of the Chicago Bears back in the day. Then we traded him away because we didn't think he was going to do anything. And he went to Carolina and got real good. And now, happy birthday, Greg Olsen. He is an up and coming play-by-play guy in the world of sports football. In the world of sports football. He's pretty good. Greg Olsen is good. I like Greg Olsen. I like Greg Olsen as a commentator. He's good. Born on this day in 1989, Anton Yelchin, Russian-born American actor, another guy who died tragically. Oh my God, this is like dying tragically day. Anton Yelchin, he played, he was in the Star Trek movies. He played, I don't know who he played. He played the Russian guy in the Star Trek movies. Remember how he died? He died in like one of the most crazy movie star death ways ever. Like not even a movie star death way. He died. He got pinned. Like he had an electric gate at his house that opened up and he pulled in and it was acting hinky. And he was like halfway through the gate with his car door open and the gate closed on him and like pinned him between the car and crushed him to death. Oh my God. Here's his death. After Yelchin failed to arrive at a rehearsal, he was found by friends after midnight on June 19th, 2016, pinned between his Jeep Grand Cherokee and a brick pillar gate post outside his house in Studio City, Los Angeles. The victim of what was described as a freak accident. As Yelchin got out of his car and went to check his locked gate and mail, the vehicle transmission had apparently not been put into park, and it rolled back down his driveway, which was on a steep incline, pinning him against the pillar and a security fence. Yelchin was pronounced dead at the scene at the age of 27. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office identified the cause of death as blunt traumatic asphyxia and stated that there were no obvious suspicious circumstances involved. Man. That is crazy. Young actor, 27. I mean, sure, he's driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee. You'd think maybe something a little more fancy, but he had a house with a power gate. That suggests that things were looking up for him. He died today. Okay. No, he didn't die today. He was born today in 1989. Also born today in 1993. Where would we put AD? Anthony Davis. Happy birthday, Anthony Davis, LA Laker. Has that big unibrow that he is just not going to fix. I don't know why he's not going to fix the unibrow. It looks crazy. Would he be, I'm trying to think, would Anthony Davis be top 10 Chicago Public League basketball players of all time? He was good, but he was great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. There's so many amazing Chicago Public League high school players that just dominated in their day. Anyway, okay. Anthony Davis, there you go. He's born today in 1993. I used to be such a big fan of Chicago high school basketball. I used to think for years that there is a missed opportunity there. There is no real solid singular coverage of Chicago high school basketball. Like, there are lots of people here in Texas who make money off of Texas high school football with different platforms and stuff. Doesn't really exist in Chicago, and it could. It really could. I mean, it's covered. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's not covered, but it's covered independently. There is no central source. So I don't know. I'm just brainstorming on ways to make money. If there was like a way that you could show the rest of the world what high school basketball in the city of Chicago is like, it'd be crazy. It's better than most colleges. And I'm not kidding. It is better than most colleges. Just like Texas high school football at the most elite level is better than most colleges. No, not the top 25. There are hundreds and hundreds of college football teams, and there are Texas high school football teams that I would put up against a number of college teams. They're just not that good. But they're not at the highest level. And of course, there's no Chicago Public League high school team that could beat Kansas or Duke or Gonzaga this year. But Meriwether State, yes, I would think that, a team from Whitney Young or King or Simeon might be able to take them down. That's just how it goes. So happy birthday, Anthony Davis. You're one of the greats of the Chicago Public League. Oh, great. Hold on. Now I got to check. Did he even play in the public league or did he play in the private league? Whatever. Let me see. Where did AD go? Where did he play for? And my high school career. There he goes. Okay. Born in Chicago, Davis grew up on the Southside. Played for Perspectives Charter School. I don't even know what that is. The team plays in the Blue Division of the Chicago Public League, one of the most competitive high school basketball leagues in the nation. This league, however, is mostly ignored by the media because of its lower level of competition. See, maybe that's why I don't rank him so high in the history, because we didn't really hear as much about him, Anthony Davis. Nobody died. I like to do who died on this day. Slobodan Milosevic. Do we want to waste time on him? I don't think so. Let's just get into the trends. Let's get into what's talked about, what's headlines for today, what's happening. Russia. That's what's happening today. President Biden gave a speech earlier today where basically no vodka, no caviar, no diamonds. We are ramping up all of the restrictions on stuff that we are importing from Russia. So if you like vodka from Russia, which, as we went over here on the show about a week or so ago, you and me and the average guy in the street, we can't name an authentic Russian vodka, because all of the vodkas that we think are Russian vodkas are not actually Russian vodkas. They're made elsewhere. They're like Smirnoff. Smirnoff is made in Illinois. I think it's owned by a German company, but it's made in Illinois. It's just branded as Russia because, people think that Russia has the best vodka. So all of these like supposed Russian brand, like they'll say Russian vodka on it. That doesn't mean it's from Russia. It means it's the style of vodka that they make in Russia. But Biden calls for ending normal trade relations with Russia. He did this today. Let's see what this all entails. Biden calls for, here we go. President Joe Biden on Friday called on Congress to join the European Union and the Group of 7 industrial nations in suspending normal trade relations with Russia, allowing new tariffs to be imposed in response to the ongoing invasion of Ukraine. In a speech, Biden said the U.S. will also ban imports of Russian diamonds, seafood, that's caviar, and vodka, denying Moscow more than $1 billion in export revenues. Putin is the aggressor, Biden said, and Putin must pay a price. Revoking normal trade relations, which requires congressional action in the United States, would end Russia's status as a most favored nation, a classification within the World Trade Organization that exempts a company from excessive tariffs. The move comes as the U.S. and its European allies have hit Russia with a round after round of economic sanctions in an effort to squeeze Russian President Vladimir Putin. The International Monetary Fund is predicting that Russia will plunge into a deep recession this year. As Putin continues his merciless assault, the United States and our allies and partners continue to work in lockstep to ramp up the economic pressures on Putin and to further isolate Russia on a global stage, Biden said. All right, so there you go. So no more. And again, you don't drink Russian vodka. You don't. You might think you don't drink Russian vodka. I pulled up a couple of names of truly authentic Russian, made in Russia brands of vodka, and never heard of them. Never heard of them. Everything that you drink normally is fine. You drink Finlandia, that's fine. Grey Goose, that's fine. You drink Tito's, that's Austin. You drink Smirnoff, that's somewhere in Illinois. You drink Stolichnaya, that's like somewhere in Germany or England or something like that. You don't have to worry about it. Russian TV, boy, they are cracking on Russian TV. They're going a little bit nuts, right? I wanted to show you guys this. This is something that occurred last night. People are starting to speak out. There have been over 20,000 arrests of Russian citizens now since the start of this. People protesting the war. Last week, we watched a Russian economist go on a Kremlin-backed news station and toast a drink to the death of the Russian stock market and say that he's retiring and going to be a professional Santa Claus. I think he was a little drunk. I think he had a bad week economically, and he was not having it. We saw an RT anchor just a couple of days ago stepped away. She said, I ain't doing this anymore. I go, we are wrong. We are being asked to lie to the Russian people. We are being asked to put out this Kremlin propaganda. We're not doing it. So then this happens last night on Russian TV. We'll watch this and then I'll read to you exactly what it. Oh, actually, no, I think you can read it. I think there are subtitles, but the subtitles go awful quick. So here's what it was. It was kind of like a Russian version of a Sean Hannity or something. And he was talking to a Russian military guy. And the Russian military guy, basically in the middle of the conversation, started saying, what we're doing is wrong. We're sending our boys there. They're being killed. They're being slaughtered. This is not working out. You're not being told the truth. We need to all as a nation acknowledge that this is a bad war, blah, blah, blah. And the television host went nuts on him. No, niet, that is lie. That whole thing. Here, I'll read to you. How can I do this? I'll read it to you first, and then I'll let you see the exchange. Okay, so here's the exchange translated from Russian. All right, so this is Aronosian. Aronosian is the military guy who broke bad. On television, to all the people watching, Aronosian says, the fact that there are so many people here with fighting experience that passed through Afghanistan and Chechen campaigns and the Donbass, they are really our guys there. And the Donetsk and the Luhansk people and our guys from the special operations, they're dying now. They're dying. And our country, and then he gets interrupted by the host, Gudashinovikov. No. I don't want to listen to it. Stop. Can't you stop? Enough. Military guy starts talking. I just want us to stand up now and commemorate in silence, a minute of silence, those guys who are fighting for Russia in Donbass. Can you stop now? I will tell you now what our guys are doing there. Our guys are destroying fascists. Let me finish. It's a triumph of Russian weapons. It's a triumph of the Russian army. It's the rebirth of Russia. That's basically, so the military guy is saying, hey man, we're getting our ass handed to us over there and people need to know what's really going on. And of course the host is like, niet, that is not happening, niet. Let's see what this is.
As Russia's attacks on Ukraine persist,
that ain't it, you
NATO.
stupid. Yeah, yikes. We'll just go to YouTube. Let's go to the YouTube page. Right. And then you can watch how this whole thing goes down. It's pretty animated. And I'm telling you, man, they are cracking in Russia. People are. This is the Russian TV. This is what state-funded media and media hosts are expected to do. Okay, so we're looking there. That's obviously the military guy.
В том, что здесь многие люди с боевым опытом и через Афганистан прошли, и через чеченскую кампанию прошли, и через Донбасс. Там реально наши ребята, и донецкие, и луганские, и наши силы спецопераций гибнут сейчас. И наша страна, она...
Не.
Нет,
я не хочу это слышать. Подождите. Нет,
послушайте,
стойте.
они гибнут все равно.
Стойте.
Они все равно
Да
гибнут.
остановитесь.
Подождите
Вы не
секунду.
можете остановиться, что
Я
ли?
просто хочу, чтобы мы
Хватит.
сейчас встали, почтили память молчанием, хотя бы
Вы что делаете?
минутой молчания наших ребят, которые там все равно сражаются за
Вы можете
Россию
остановиться?
и за
Нет.
Донбасс.
Вы можете сейчас остановиться?
Пожалуйста.
Я вам сейчас скажу, что там наши ребята делают. Наши ребята там разят гадину
Это
фашистскую.
правильно, но
это
правильно
Да
всё.
дайте мне договорить.
Да.
Это триумф русского оружия, это триумф
правильно.
русской армии, это возрождение России.
That's what fake news really looks like, people. That is what fake news really looks like. A Russian military hero trying to tell the people what's really happening there, and the Tucker Carlson of the Kremlin not allowing him to say that, and just not even being subtle about it. Just, we are destroying fascists. We are reforming the greatness of Russia. I mean, so there are cracks. There are cracks happening over there. Think about this. I mean, I would have never imagined that a Russian military guy with his entire career on the line would be comfortable enough going on TV and going, okay, here's the truth. Don't cut me off. This is what's really happening, and you people aren't being told what's happening. It's amazing. It's amazing. So that's why Russian TV is trending. Stolichnya, the fine Russian vodka. There isn't Russian vodka at all. Stolichnya is trending today. Why? Well, because they are done with people thinking that they are Russian vodka, even though it says right on the label, Russian vodka. And they have spent the better part of the last 100 years trying to fool people into thinking that they are legit Russian vodka, even though it's not made in Russia. It's, so it's like they spent all of this time like, yo, yes, Stolichnya, this is authentic Russian vodka. This is real. It's not. It's like made in England, or it's owned by English, something like that. Whatever it was at some point, like 100 years ago, it was real Russian vodka, but it hasn't been since any of us or our grandparents have been alive. So they spend all this time, downplaying the fact that they're not actually made in Russia. But now they're like, hey, reverse course. We want everybody to know that we are not Russian vodka. They are going so far as to change the name of the company. Stolichnaya Vodka is now being rebranded simply as Stoli Vodka, which is what everybody called it anyway. I mean, everybody referred to it as Stoli Vodka, but now they want everyone to know. Stoli Group announced the rebrand to simply Stoli on Friday. In a statement, here's important, Luxembourg-based company, they're based out of Luxembourg, said its founders' opposition to the Putin regime played a major role in the decision. While I have been exiled from Russia since 2000 due to my opposition to Putin, I have remained proud of the Stolichnaya brand, Yuri Scheffler, founder of Stoli Group, said in a statement. Today, we have made the decision to rebrand entirely, as the name no longer represents our organization. More than anything, I wish for Stoli to represent peace in Europe and solidarity with the Ukraine. Stoli's production facilities have been based in Latvia since 2000, and last week the company said it was moving to exclusive use of Slovakian grains to ensure 100% non-Russian product. We have employees, partners, and distributors in the region directly impacted. They are asking that we take a bold stand. This is one actionable, meaningful thing that we can do to make it clear that we support Ukraine, Stoli Group Chief Executive Damien McKinney said in a statement from London. Recently, Russian vodka has been pulled off the shelves of some stores in the US, Canada, and the UK, a sign of support for Ukraine. Stoli has gotten caught up in that. One liquor store owner in Michigan told the Associated Press last week that he had yanked Stolichnaya from his shelves, apparently believing it was Russian, and started promoting a Ukrainian brand instead. The company also said it has made a financial commitment to World Central Kitchen chef Jose Andres, his nonprofit group that is helping feed Ukrainian refugees. The Stolichnaya brand dates back to the early 1900s, but gained fame during the Cold War years as a rare Soviet export to the West. The state-run distillery was privatized after the fall of the Soviet Union, but Stoli Group and the Russian government have been embroiled in a trademark dispute for nearly 2 decades. Stoli Group was established in 2013, and besides its signature vodkas, distributes rum, tequila, gin, and wine. But Jesus, anybody ever had like Stoli rum? I've never heard of that. It's only vodka. All right, so there you go. Stoli. We are not Russian. We were at one point, but we are not Russian. Jussie is trending. We'll just touch on this because if you were listening to the Pillow Talk show last night, you know that we covered the Jussie Smollett beatdown that he received from Judge Freaky Doo. I can't stop thinking about that judge's crazy hair. He had such weird hair. And again, like we said, didn't rise to the level of like Phil Spector or Don King, but it was weird hair. He had weird hair. Actor Jussie Smollett has been sentenced to 150 days in jail and 30 months of probation. He's also been fined $25,000. And then, on top of that, ordered to repay $120,000 for lying to the Chicago police about being the victim of a racist and homophobic attack. Well, he spent night one at 26th in California. I hope he's adapting well to his new life there in one of the country's most notoriously difficult county prisons. It's not a good place for a pretty boy like Jussie Smollett. I still don't, the judge just went hard on him. And you knew I was watching the live stream of it last evening. Started at 1:00 in the afternoon. He was a half hour late. Jussie showed up a half hour late to his sentencing. Not a good move. And then the whole sentencing procedure went till after 6:00. It was so long and drawn out. Oh, it was brutal. But when the judge finally got around to his sentencing, he talked for like 20 minutes and we were in the chat room, right? I'm watching the other people in the chat room that were watching on the live stream. It was like, oh man, this is not going to be good. Like you could tell by some of the things that the judge was bringing up that he's going to jail. And it's interesting because nobody was saying he was going to get jail time. Nobody. It was like, he's not going to get jail time. They're not going to go. This is the lowest level of a felony. He's already out $10,000. He already had to pay $10,000 to, that he's not going to get back. They're going to slap him with a big fine. He's going to have to do a whole bunch of community service and he's going to get probation for a couple of years. But there is no way they're putting him in jail. They put him in jail. They put him in jail for 5 months. That's going to be a long 5 months at the Cook County Correctional Facility. That is not going to be fun for old Jussie Smollett. We don't have any more information about the way he flipped out a little bit. He didn't believe he was going to jail. His reaction when he stood up and he went, "I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal. I just want everybody to know that if something happens to me, I am not suicidal." Yeah, I do. I recognize that my Jussie Smollett my angered Jussie Smollett imitation sounds a little bit like Elmo. But what can I do? I am not suicidal. Jussie not suicidal. If something happens to Jussie not suicidal. So he did that, and then he raised his fist, and he went into he tried to present himself as, and in the moment, he immediately went with, "I am a martyr. I am a martyr." He didn't say this, but this is like what the motivation for what his outburst was. "I am another black man being imprisoned because he's gay." Okay, which one is it? Is it both? It's both. No. You're being imprisoned. Now everybody wants you to go in for longer because you can't even show contrition after the entire world knows the story was bullshit. The entire story was bullshit from the very beginning. From the fact that he just decided to go out for like a half-mile walk during a polar vortex at 2 a.m. on a Sunday night in Chicago. Polar vortex. It was like 50 below zero wind chill factor. Nobody was out on the street. And then you're going to be attacked on the streets of Streeterville, which again, not a high crime area in Chicago. It's, tourists and rich people. That's who live in Streeterville. And nobody's out on the street. And you're telling me that there are some thugs waiting for you in Streeterville. They're just waiting out on the cold on the off chance that you're going to come out for a Subway sandwich at 2:00 in the morning during 50 below zero wind chill factor. And then you're telling me that these white guys, he said they were white guys wearing MAGA hats. He turned it into a political thing. So you're telling me that there's 2 white guys in MAGA hats and 50 below zero wind chill factors on the streets of Streeterville shouting, "This is MAGA country"? Because first of all, there couldn't be a place further away from MAGA country than Streeterville in Chicago. It's just not. I mean, come on, man. It was just such a bullshit story. And he will, when is he going to come clean? I mean, will it be after jail? Will that be part of his attempted reclamation tour where he's going to do a sit down, and the big takeaway from the sit down is going to be he's finally going to admit it and talk about it, because that's his only way back at this point. Nobody's going to sit down with him and have him in, 6 months from now when he gets out of prison or whatever. Nobody's going to sit down with him and want to hear him go, "I did not do it." That's just going to eye rolls. But if the promotion for the Jussie Smollett sit-down interview, which will happen, is going to be something like he finally comes clean, then everybody will tune in. I'll tune in for that. And then, people will be like, well, okay, he went a little bit nuts. Maybe he's getting the help that he needs. He's a narcissist, of course. Maybe he needs full contrition. When he comes out of here, if he wants to save he has no career. Well, I shouldn't say that, because who knows? He might rebound. He is talented. Oh, what do you mean he's talented? Yeah, he's talented. I can separate this action, this moronic action that Jussie Smollett tried to perpetrate against the people of America, and specifically the people of Chicago. I can separate that from the fact that he's very talented. He can sing, he can perform, he's attractive. He's got all these things going for him. He's very talented. If you watched Empire, you know that Jamal Lyon was a very talented character. So whatever. Okay, so that's why Jussie is trending. Kelly Clarkson is trending. Oh, our sweet little Kelly. Our sweet little Kelly here in North Texas. Who doesn't love Kelly Clarkson? Who has had a bad run-in with Kelly Clarkson? I don't know one person. I know a lot of people who have bumped into Kelly Clarkson, myself included. I know a lot of people who have bumped into Kelly Clarkson around town, and she is just a doll. She is just so... And we're all mad now. We're all mad at her husband, Brandon Blackstock. Screw you, Brandon Blackstock. Hurting our little Kelly Clarkson. How dare you hurt her? Well, she's getting a divorce. Kelly Clarkson settles divorce with massive monthly spousal support check to Brandon Blackstock. Where she live? Don't she live like out, I don't know. I always think it's like Mansfield, but it's probably somewhere. It's probably some big giant mansion ranch that she lives out here in the North Texas area. I don't know. Kelly Clarkson and Brandon Blackstock have finally settled their divorce, and People and The Blast report that Kelly's paying her ex a truly gigantic one-time sum of over $1.3 million. That's not truly gigantic. What are you talking about? What? She's getting $1.3 million, and this is a gigantic. Kelly Clarkson has to pay him a gigantic one-time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, this is a show that works on tips. And by the way, ain't nobody tipped this show all week. And all you're doing is you're just going to make me start begging for tips at the end of the month. We got nothing. We did nothing. Kelly Clarkson's giving away $1.3 million. Bam! There it is. I keep forgetting because I hate the fact that the show has to exist on your tips. But yeah, if you could help us out, we didn't do nothing this week. This is how we got in trouble last month. All right, $1.3 million is what Kelly Clarkson has given away. That's not a huge amount. However, there is more. So the dude gets a one-time payout of $1.3 million for being married to Kelly Clarkson, as well as monthly child support payments of $45K a month. 45 grand. He's going to get 45 grand a month. 45 grand a month. You can rate what? What do these kids need? What do these kids need? 45. I mean, I get it. Their mom's Kelly Clarkson, so they have to be raised in a certain style. I understand. But then on top of that, he's going to receive monthly spousal support payments of $115,000 a month until January 31st, 2024. All right, so let's break this down. So he gets a one-time payout of $1.3 million. Cha-ching. That goes into the bank. Hopefully he's a fan of the show and he'll donate. That goes into the bank. $1.3 million. That's good. That's good. Now, suddenly your checking account is flush. Then he gets $45K for child support. How often does he have the kids? Why would he get, well, I guess because Kelly does a TV show, right? Every day. I don't know. Maybe he's going to be this. I don't know how this works out, but he's getting $45K a month for the kids and an additional $115K a month just because he was married to her. Now that $115K a month, he's only going to get till 2024, January 31st, 2024. So that's like 2 years. So what is that? That's 1.2, like 2.4 million. So he'll get another like $2.5 million from her. 1.3 in the bank, 2.5 until 24. And then those child support payments, they got to continue on till 18, I believe. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just somebody who's also paying child support. So I get that. So 45K, and then he's going to have like he'll have like $3.5 million. You can get a nice house in Frisco. Yeah, you get a nice place. Yeah, you're not going to be able to live an O'Kelly Clarkson lifestyle on that, but that's a lot of money coming in. Although, again, the $115 a month, God, that's great. Jesus. I mean, $115 a year is great. $115K a year is really good money. You can live a nice life. You can live a very nice life. This dude is getting $115K a month for the next 2 years. Aside from the financial settlement, Kelly and Brandon will split joint custody of their children, who will live primarily at Kelly's home. Oh, her LA home, because she's doing the TV show. So the kids are going to live primarily with Kelly, and she's still got to pay him $45K a month. A lot of that's going to go to bar tabs. I'm just saying. There's no... Really? Jeez. Aside from the financial settlement, Kelly and Brandon will split joint custody of their children, who will live primarily at Kelly's home in Los Angeles. The agreement also makes it clear that both kids will be vaccinated against COVID-19, since they will be traveling to visit Brandon in Montana. Oh, they're not even around. She's still got to have the ranch here. I know that she's, but I guess now that she's doing the TV show, she's in Los Angeles most of the time. And speaking of Montana, Kelly technically owns the home in Montana, but since Brandon is living there, he'll be paying $2,000 a month for use of the property until he moves out in June. Kelly is also retaining ownership of their other Montana property, as well as the family pets, multiple cars, including a Porsche and a flight simulator. Cool rich people toys. Meanwhile, Brandon gets to keep the former couple's farm, cattle, livestock, stock dogs, and horses, as well as several cars and snowmobiles, a golf simulator, and some fancy watches from Patek Philippe. Back in October of 2020, Kelly opened up about her divorce to Entertainment Weekly. I feel like if you're hiding something, there must be something wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with anything. Life just kind of happens, and it takes turns that you don't expect. There you go. All right. So she's, marry yourself a rich woman. There you go. Kelly Clarkson and that son of a bitch, Brandon Blackstock. That's right. I'm Team Kelly. I am 100% Team Kelly. I tease this. Ross says that's the worst deal I've ever heard. How is that the worst deal? I want to know what your thinking is here. Because I think that the headline presented a massive one-time payout of $1.3 million. It's not a massive one-time payout. That's not for rich people. For rich people, that's getting away scot-free. That's pretty easy. That's all. That's an easy one. Jerry Jones writes $1.3 million tips. That's not. Look, he's doing fine. He's doing way better than me. Doing way better than most of us. Well, way better than all of us. Let's just put it that way. He's doing way better than all of us. I don't think that there's anybody who's a daily streamer of this show who makes $115,000 a month and then another $45,000 a month to take care of kids that don't even live with you. I don't know if it's that bad of a deal. All right, Texas Supreme Court. We talked about the Texas Supreme Court. They were in the news today. Yeah, Yeah, I know. So you're saying it's a bad deal for Kelly? I don't get it, Ross. I don't get why she's paying $45K a month in child support to him when the kids primarily live with her. And on top of that, she's giving him $115K a month in fund money for the next 2 years. Texas Supreme Court is trending today. Why is the Texas Supreme Court trending? Well, I'll tell you, folks. Thanks for asking. If you are if you're on the side of the pro-abortion, if you're on the side of pro-choice, if you are a pro-choice person, you are not happy today because it's looking bad. There's not going to be any abortion. The abortion in Texas is gone. It's gone. Kiss it goodbye. That ship has sailed, people. It's over with. And other states are following through on it. The ruling from the Lone Star State Supreme Court may foreclose federal litigation aimed at privately enforced anti-abortion statutes. The Texas Supreme Court appeared to slam the door Friday morning on a federal lawsuit abortion providers in the state have pursued for months in a bid to have the state's unusual privately enforced abortion ban declared unconstitutional. So Planned Parenthood, I'm just going to throw out the brand names. Planned Parenthood, they basically went to the Texas Supreme Court and said, look, this new rule that was signed into law last year, we need you, the Texas Supreme Court, to declare that it's unconstitutional because, and the Texas Supreme Court said no. Unanimously too, by the way, wasn't even close. The unanimous ruling from Texas highest court cuts off, for now, abortion rights advocates' ability to use federal courts to halt enforcement of the law that went into effect in September and allows private citizens to sue abortion providers. So private citizens can't sue. All right. So private citizens can still sue abortion providers. Wasn't that part of the whole tell on your neighbor kind of part of this that a lot of people freaked out about? Like if you that girl across the street, she was pregnant. Now she's not pregnant. I'm telling, that whole thing. And then the police show up and arrest everybody because why not? We're just throwing people in jail for stuff. Let's see. The Texas Supreme Court decision, however, does not foreclose other legal maneuvers that abortion providers are using to challenge the law, like state court suits against anti-abortion activists and groups considered likely to try to wield the statute to discourage abortions. Well, first of all, I think abortions should be discouraged. I am pro-choice. Actually, I'm only pro-choice because I truly and honestly, this is a third rail issue. I truly believe that this is something that the women need to work out. This is something that you ladies need to work out on your own. And as a guy, I will, how do I say this? Because I don't really support one side. Here's what I think. I think that if I was a woman and I could get pregnant, I would want to be able to handle that, but I'm not a woman. So my opinion, I really do think that this is something that the women of America men need to stop interfering in this. Men need to just go, yeah, her body, her choice. So, whoa, now what is that? You lefty? No, it's just really is true. And I think that it really does boil down to the fact that if men had a similar kind of situation, there would be no question. If a man could have his career overturned because he decided to have sex with somebody that he didn't want to get married to and start a family with, I think that male abortion would totally be legal. I really do think that this is something that women need to deal with. Nobody likes the idea of I don't know if it's a life or not. I don't know. I don't like the idea of killing a baby. Or is it a baby or is it a zygote? I don't know. I don't want to get into that. That's for smarter scientific minds than mine. The whole idea of an abortion is tragic for the individual. It's a terrible thing. But it's not a terrible thing that could ever happen to me personally, so I should probably shut up. And I think that that's how a lot of guys should feel about it. This is it's a woman's thing, and I have always described myself as pro-choice. I have come off of that, and now I'm just pro-lady. You ladies figure it out. There's no reason, because there are people who are passionate on both sides. I am not smart enough to truly understand the science of it. I can tell you, I personally don't believe that a fertilized egg is a human being. I don't think that. I think that maybe it gets a little bit sketchier as far as what it is. Once a heartbeat can be detected, then it's like, okay, I don't know. But I am also consistent. I am ardently opposed to the death penalty. We've talked about that. I don't think we should be killing grown-ups either. I think that if a grown-up violates the rules of our society, it is just incumbent upon us as a civilized society to remove them from said society. Is that going to cost us money? Yes, because there are costs involved with operating a civilized society. What do we want here? The killing of a human being, regardless of what they have done, is just beyond me. I'm not cool with it. Self-defense is different. If somebody is trying to kill you and you're fighting for the right to stay alive, that is different. That I believe that, whatever God is up there and whatever is happening, I believe you get judged differently for that. But if you just willingly end another human being's life, I don't know that's, I don't know. Ape don't kill ape, man. I keep saying this. The Planet of the Apes, they said that. That's why the Planet of the Apes society was so awesome. They didn't have murder. They didn't murder each other. They knew that ape don't kill ape. They killed humans, though. The apes killed the humans. That was no problem for them. But ape don't kill ape. So there you go. So that's why Texas Supreme Court is trending. They unanimously said, nope, we're not changing a darn tootin' thing. This is pretty creepy. This is a creepy thing that happened. So, India and Pakistan. They're basically the same country. It's just an arbitrary border that was set up to delineate between Hindus and Muslims. That's what India and Pakistan is all about, right? But I mean, culturally, very similar. Aside from the religious aspects, this is definitely there's different religions there. But India and Pakistan hate each other, and they're both nuclear powers. They both have nuclear bombs and nuclear missiles, and they're right on each other's border. I mean, imagine if our greatest enemy was Canada. That's basically what's happening with India and Pakistan, and has been happening for years and years. Imagine if Canada is Canada a nuclear nation? They don't really need to be, because they're so tethered to us that they don't really have to worry about. I don't know. Is Canada a nuclear nation? Does Canada have nuclear weapons? I don't know. But both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons, and they hate each other. That's where, most experts say if we're going to have a nuclear situation on this planet, it's going to happen between India and Pakistan, because these people, they despise one another, and they are so close, and they're both aiming their warheads at each other. It is just nasty. Well, there was a bit of an oopsie that occurred earlier this week, and the world is just finding out about it now. And the oopsie is that India accidentally, well, you see, Dimitri, I'm doing my my Dr. Strangelove, because this is such a Dr. Strangelove situation. If you're familiar with my favorite movie of all time, Dr. Strangelove, it's about a American military commander who goes a bit rogue and decides to start a world war by attacking Russia with nuclear weapons. That's what Dr. Strangelove's about. And there's a scene. We're going to play the scene because I love the scene. There's a scene where the president, Peter Sellers of the United States, has to call Dmitry, the general secretary of the Soviet. He has to call him and explain, well, Dmitry, you see, we had a bit of a little problem. India says it accidentally fired a missile into Pakistan. The incident occurred because of a technical malfunction, and this is how a nuclear war is going to start. The incident occurred because of a technical malfunction during routine maintenance earlier this week, India's defense minister said in a statement. India said Friday it accidentally, well, you see, Dimitri, India said Friday it accidentally fired a missile into Pakistan because of a technical malfunction during routine maintenance, giving its version of events after longtime foe Pakistan warned that the incident could have unpleasant consequences. Yeah, it could. On March the 9th, just a couple of days ago, in the course of routine maintenance, a technical malfunction led to the accidental firing of a missile. India's defense minister said in a statement. It is learnt that the missile, is that proper? Learnt? It's got to be. It's in quotes. It is learnt, Learnt. It is learnt that the missile landed in an area of Pakistan. While the incident is deeply regrettable, it is also a matter of relief that there has been no loss of life due to the accident. The ministry said the government had taken a serious view and ordered a high-level court of inquiry into the incident. Earlier on Friday, Pakistan's Foreign Office said it had summoned India's charge d'affaires. That's going to be like Secretary of State or something, ambassador, in Islamabad to lodge a protest over what it called an unprovoked violation of Pakistani airspace. Pakistan called for an investigation into the incident, which it said could have endangered passenger flights and civilian lives. Pakistan warned India to be mindful of the unpleasant consequences of such negligence and take effective measures to avoid the recurrence. Military experts have in the past warned of the risk of accidents or miscalculations by the neighbors, which have fought 3 wars and engaged in numerous military clashes, most recently in 2019. Pakistani military spokesman Major General Babar Iftikhar said in a late, and I am certain I'm not pronouncing that name right, said in a late evening news conference on Thursday that a high-speed flying object crashed near its eastern city of Mian Chanu and that originated from the northern Indian city of Sirsa. The flight path of this object endangered many national and international passenger flights, both in India and Pakistani airspace, as well as human life and property on the ground. Iftikhar, in the news conference on Tuesday, also called on India to share the outcome of its investigation into the incident. A Pakistani Air Force official said the object traveled at an altitude of 40,000 feet at Mach 3 and flew 77 miles into Pakistani airspace before crashing. So it didn't kill anybody, but it was like, okay, so you imagine you're the guy, it's maintenance. So what's going on? Is you just like, cleaning up the missile with probably got a cigarette dangling because all of those people smoke. Have you ever seen footage from either Pakistan or India? Those people are born with cigarettes. They are dangling from their mouths. So, this guy's like, and his buddy's behind him, and he's like, he probably brought his buddy to work. His buddy's just hanging out. He's like, so this is what you do all day? Yeah, just clean these missiles. Hey, what's this button over here do? Plunk. Oh, no. Look at me. I almost did an Indian accent because God forbid anybody, point out that compared to the American accent, they sound different. But yeah, that's probably how it happened. Probably happened. Here, let me share with you this. This is one of my favorite scenes from my favorite movie of all time. And I imagine that the situation there in India went a little something like this. This is from Dr. Strangelove. This is the President of the United States. President of the United States explaining on a phone call to the leader of Russia that, something kind of went wrong. This is my favorite movie. If you guys have never seen this movie, I am telling you, you are in for a treat. This is so great. Peter Sellers plays multiple roles. And this is he plays Dr. Strangelove himself, who is the Nazi scientist. And this is the President of the United States. Here he is on the phone with the President of Russia.
Hello? Hello, Dmitry. Listen, I can't hear too well. Do you suppose you could turn the music down just a little? Oh, that's much better. Yeah. Yes. Fine, I can hear you now, Dmitry. Clear and plain and coming through fine. I'm coming through fine too, eh? Good, then... Well, then, as you say, we're both coming through fine. Good. Well, it's good that you're fine, then, and I'm fine. I agree with you. It's great to be fine. Now then, Dmitry. You know how we've always talked about the possibility of something going wrong with the bomb. The bomb, Dmitry. The hydrogen bomb. Well, now, what happened is one of our base commanders, he had a sort of, he went a little funny in the head. Just a little
Funny.
And he went and did a silly thing. Well, I'll tell you what he did. He ordered his planes to attack your country. Well, let me finish, Dmitri. Let me finish, Dmitri. Well, listen, how do you think I feel about it? Can you imagine how I feel about it, Dmitri? Why do you think I'm calling you? Just to say hello? To speak to you. Of course I like to say hello. Not now, but anytime, Dmitri. I'm just calling up to tell you something terrible has happened. It's a friendly call. Of course it's a friendly call. Listen, if it wasn't friendly, you probably wouldn't have even got it. They will not reach their targets for at least another hour. I am positive, Dmitri. Listen, I've been all over this with your ambassador. It is not a trick. Well, I'll tell you. We'd like to give your air staff a complete rundown on the targets, the flight plans, and the defensive systems of the planes. Yes, I mean, if we're unable to recall the planes, then I'd say that, we're just going to have to help you destroy them, Dmitri. I know there are boys. All right, well, listen, now who should we call? Who should we call, Dmitri? The people, you faded away there. The People's Central Air Defense Headquarters. Where is that, Dmitri? In Omsk, right? Yes. Oh, you're calling first, will you? Uh-huh. Listen, do you happen to have the phone number on you, Dmitri? What? I see. Just ask for Omsk information. I'm sorry too, Dmitri. I'm very sorry. All right, you're sorrier than I am. But I am sorry as well. I am as sorry as you are, Dmitri. Don't say that you're more sorry than I am, because I'm capable of being just as sorry as you are. So we're both sorry, all right? All right. Yes, he's right here. Yes, he wants to talk to you. Just a second.
And then the Soviet ambassador comes on. Oh, so that's what I imagine. Basically went on between India and Pakistan. They had to go, well, now you see, one of our maintenance workers, he went a little, funny. He did a silly thing. So that's it. So there you go. So we're on the verge of nuclear war now between India and Pakistan. God, I can't wait to be able to watch Dr. Strangelove with my kid. He's not old enough to really understand. He's not old enough to really get the subtlety and the magnificence of the performances. But oh my God, Dr. Strangelove, such a great movie. What else is happening here? Deutsche Bank is trending. Why is it Deutsche? It might be Deutsche Bank. I don't know. I said Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is trending because they are like the lone World Bank holdout who is saying that we are not going to stop doing business with Russia. They say that they defend their decision to not exit Russia because it's not practical right now, which means they're going to lose money. And they're not willing to lose money. And they're willing to sit by and watch all of these terrible things happen to Ukrainian citizens. But the folks at Deutsche Bank, man, that place, nothing ever good. There is never a good story about Deutsche Bank, these people. Also trending today, I'll tell you, man, the older I get, the more my childhood just gets knocked off before my very eyes. Luis from Sesame Street has died. Luis is gone. You know Luis? Luis was like the first Mexican guy that I ever loved. He was the first like Mexican guy that I think I ever saw on TV. I mean, I'm sure, I guess Chico and the Man was on, but I didn't really, didn't really pay attention. For me, Sesame Street, when I was like 3-4 years old, Luis has died. Emilio Delgado, who played Luis for 45 years on Sesame Street, has died at the age of 81. Oh, he was so nice. What are you talking about? Everybody. Oh, okay. Name the asshole on Sesame Street. Well, Oscar the Grouch, of course. No, name the human asshole. Yeah, there really wasn't. I guess they were all nice. I guess that's the whole point. I guess every human character on Sesame Street was nice. But Luis was like a favorite, you know? Mr. Was it Mr. Who owned the store? Was it Mr. Hooper? Was that Hooper, or am I getting that wrong? I don't know. Mr. Whipple? Mr. Whipple? I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember I liked Luis. Emilio Delgado, the actor and singer, who for 45 years was a warm and familiar presence in children's lives and a rare Latino face on American television as Fix-It shop owner Luis on Sesame Street, died peacefully on Thursday. Well, thank God it was peaceful, because Luis deserved a peaceful death. His wife, Carol Delgado, told the Associated Press that Emilio died from blood cancer. He was 81 years old. Sesame Workshop, the nonprofit behind the show, Sesame Street, paid tribute to Delgado in a statement to USA Today. A beloved member of the Sesame family for over 50 years, his warmth and humor invited children to share a friendship that has echoed through the generations, read the statement. At the forefront of representation, Emilio profoundly laid claim to the record for the longest running role for a Mexican American in a TV series. We are so grateful that he shared his talents with us and the world. As Luis Delgado, a Mexican American, got to play an ordinary, non-stereotypical Latino character at a time when such depictions were few and far between on TV. Isn't any representation of actual people, Delgado said in a 2021 interview. Most of the roles that I went out for at the time were for bandits or gang members. That changed with Sesame Street, where a diverse cast interacted with a diverse group of children, along with Jim Henson's creations, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, Elmo, and Grover. Can I just say something about Elmo for a second here? God love you, Luis. You're a wonderful man. Yeah, every little kid loved Luis. I think I'm too old for Elmo. I mean, when I think of Sesame Street, I don't really think of Elmo. Was Elmo like added in like the late 80s or something, or the late 70s? Because I mean, I think my sweet spot for Sesame Street was maybe 1971 through 1974, 5, maybe 76. I think that's pretty much 71 to 75. I think that's my 4-year Sesame Street window before I got a little bit too old for it and I saw it as baby stuff. I do not remember Elmo as a kid. I mean, I remember Elmo, Tickle Me Elmo and all that stuff. But yeah, I do not remember Elmo. All right, Al says Elmo was not around in our area. Jeff says Elmo was after us, and it was Mr. Hooper. That's who it was. It was Mr. Hooper. Mr. Hooper died a long time ago. Delgado joined the show starting with its 3rd season in 1971. He said the producers embraced his suggestion to sprinkle Spanish terms into the script. The first time that I saw Big Bird walk on, my line was, "Big Bird," Delgado said in a 2021 interview. But I didn't say Big Bird. I said Pajaro. After a quick meeting in which Delgado explained that Pajaro meant bird, the producers decided to keep it. I called him Pajaro from then on. Every time I saw him, Delgado said. Delgado was born in 1940 in Calexico, California, near the U.S.-Mexican border and raised a few miles away. Elmo, from his home, he could hear music in the night from a pair of beer gardens across the street. I remember going to sleep to the sound of mariachis, he said in the 2011 interview. He was enchanted and decided to become a performer, singing wherever possible and appearing in school plays with full support of his proud parents. As a young man, he moved to Los Angeles to become an actor and had little luck. He received a call out of the blue from the producers of Sesame Street in New York. After an interview with Sesame Street producer John Stone, in which he spoke to Delgado but didn't ask for any kind of audition, he got the job. He didn't want actors, Delgado said in the 2021 interview. He wanted real people. He would remain on the show for 45 years as an integral part of the childhood of generation after generation of American children, and for Latino kids, a rare character that looked like them. Sesame Street would also allow him to sing regularly and sometimes play his guitar. Luis Rodriguez, the adult characters had last names, though they were rarely used, would marry the show's other prominent Latina, Maria. Oh, yeah, I don't remember. That must have happened after my time, too. in a ceremony on the show in 1980. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I was 19 years old. I was not watching Sesame Street in 1988. The storyline allowed the show to teach children about love, marriage, and childbirth. Okay, so it's very good. You know what? Friggin' Luis, man. Sesame Street, I think... The Sesame Street get the I mean, I guess if you're a racist or a white supremacist, you'd be like, you brainwashed kids. But like Sesame Street, from being like a little kid and watching that show and loving that show and just seeing Mexican people and black people and, you know, white, and seeing them all interact and be friends. There was no distinction made about a person's race or a person's culture. They were all just people. And I really think that from my generation, I think that had as big an impact from that early stage as anything else. You know, oh, the libs got involved and now suddenly white people don't like being white anymore. Oh, stop it. Shut up. Shut up. Isn't it better that we all get along? Isn't it better that, you know, we're fine instead of our grandparents and great-grandparents' generation that lived in fear of somebody who wasn't exactly like them. And I have to say that, yeah, Luis was the guy. Luis was it didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter if you were a white kid or a black kid or a Hispanic kid or whatever, Jewish kid or an Asian kid. It didn't matter. Luis was cool. Everybody liked Luis. Luis was the cool guy. Luis was like so there you go. Just dive another dagger into my youthful heart. They're all passing away. Love ya. Emilio Delgado, Luis on Sesame Street. Died yesterday at the age of 81. Had a good full life. Okay, speaking of another singer-songwriter troubadour, how about this? Bryan Adams. Let me pronounce that correctly. Bryan Adams. Not to be confused with Ryan Adams, who's like another guy who came around and knows Ryan Adams got a new hit song. Wait, Bryan Adams or Ryan Adams? No, this is the real guy. This is Bryan Adams. This is old Bryan Adams, pop star. He had acne. That's all I remember from him. I remember that he had like a pockmarked face, but that's okay because he wrote really good songs. He did. He wrote really good songs. Bryan Adams was, I mean, for couple of years. I mean, he didn't go on for like decades where it's like, man, I can't wait for another. I mean, it wasn't Tom Petty, you know what I mean? Like Tom Petty had, but Bryan Adams, man, for the better part of a decade, he was a megastar. He was like one of the biggest songwriters, pop artists that there was. So why is Bryan Adams trending today? Let's see. What is Bryan Adams getting into? Bryan Adams is set to be inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. Oh, yeah. The Everything I Do for You hitmaker. See, I push back on that. That when I think of Bryan Adams, I don't think of that. Wasn't that the theme from Robin Hood? Wasn't that the love theme from Robin Hood? That was like in the early to mid 90s. That is not, when I think of Bryan Adams, I don't think of everything I do for you. I don't. I think of Cuts Like a Knife, or I think of I'm Gonna Run to You, or thinking about our younger years. You know, I think of other songs. But whatever, if that's the one he wants to hang his hat on. That was probably his biggest hit, though, because it was a love ballad that went, with a movie. So that was probably the Everything I Do for You hitmaker, who released his 15th studio album, So Happy It Hurts, will be honored alongside his longtime collaborator and songwriting partner, Jim Vallance, at the ceremony in Toronto's Massey Hall. The pair, who have in recent times worked on the music and lyrics for Pretty Woman the Musical, created magic on rock legend Bryan's 1983 album, Cuts Like a Knife, and its follow-up, Reckless, the latter of which spawned hits, I forgot about Summer of 69. Yeah, is it Summer of 69? Run to You and Heaven. Meanwhile, Bryan's new album, ain't nobody care about your new album, Bryan. I'm sorry. If I go see Bryan Adams, And he gets to the point in the concert where he's like, all right, I'm going to do some new material for it. That's where I'm hitting the bathroom or getting another beer, or maybe I'm going to just start looking at Twitter or something there in the crowd. Brian, God love you, dude. But first of all, there are no like young people looking to discover new music showing up at the Bryan Adams concert. I mean, maybe there's one or two. Maybe there's a couple, who are like, oh, my dad used to like this guy. I'm going to check him out. And maybe they will be interested in the new material because they won't have the sentimental attachment to your hits that the core of the people attending your concerts do. But yeah, you know what, Bryan Adams? Here's what I would tell you. Do this. This is all you need to do in concert, right? You open up with Cuts Like a Knife. Then you do Run to You. Then you can slow things down with Heaven. Then I'm going to need you to do Cuts Like a Knife again. Then Summer of 69. Then Run to You again. Then you can do Heaven again. Why not? You slow things down. That's fine. We can hear that second. And then end it with a medley of Summer of 69, Run to You, and Cuts Like a Knife. And you're out. That's it. That's it, Brian. You do that for 90 minutes and your fans will be happy. But they don't want to hear the new stuff. Jeff says, in 2002, I took my kid to see Spirit and thought Don Henley was doing the soundtrack. Turned out to be Bryan Adams. Kevin says... is this about Sesame Street, Kevin? Kevin says, watch the documentary Street Gang. Made me tear up. A beautiful thing that came together. Okay. If you're talking about, I don't think you're talking about Bryan Adams. He doesn't seem very street gangy to me, but yeah, that's probably about Sesame Street. I think I might enjoy that. All right. So congratulations, Bryan Adams. I like you, Bryan Adams. I gotta watch you. In the summer of 69. Heaven's Gate is trending. Do you remember Heaven's Gate? No, I'm not talking about the massive box office flop from Michael Cimino, the film back in 1980. I'm talking about Heaven's Gate. Those were the people who God, how long ago was it now? Probably forever. Probably. It says 25 years ago. So the late 90s. Remember, they were the cult in San Diego, and they all committed suicide because they thought that there was a spaceship trailing behind the Hale-Bopp comet, and they were going to all get on that spaceship, but they had to be dead first. Well, they're back in the news because apparently there's some big special on Heaven's Gate, the 25th anniversary. Oh, Diane Sawyer. Diane Sawyer revisits the Heaven's Gate suicides 25 years later in a new 2-hour special of 2020, airing tonight. The 20th century religious group known as Heaven's Gate first captured the nation's attention in 1975 when a group of 20 people mysteriously vanished from a motel hall in Waldorf, Oregon. Among the group were individuals with families, careers, and military service, begging the question, where did they go? And why did they disappear? I don't know anything about that. I don't know what you're talking about. They first burst on the scene in 1975 when this mass of people disappeared from a hotel. We don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. I need to look into that. We know about Heaven's Gate because they all killed themselves wearing the same jumpsuits. Remember, they all had the same bowl haircut. They wore like jumpsuits and Nike shoes. They all had the same like Nike shoes. And they took like an overdose of some pill and they all laid down and went to bed in their bedrooms. And that was it. That's how we knew about them. But now I'm intrigued. I don't know anything about this 1975, 20 people mysteriously vanishing from a motel hall in Waldport, Oregon. Now where did they go? Now I want to know. Little would be known about the 1975 incident until 1997, when 39 people in Rancho Santa Fe, California took part in what remains the largest mass suicide in the United States. Writings left behind by the monastic group, considered a cult by experts, explain the arrival of, here it is, the Hale-Bopp comet meant the end of humanity, and that a spaceship would carry them to a higher level of existence for all eternity. The Heaven's Gate website, which still blinks red alert in bright red font on a page that awakens memories of the early internet, is a digital landmark of the reclusive group who obeyed their leaders, T and Doe. Yeah, Marshall Applewhite. That was the guy's name. Not to be confused with former University of Texas quarterback Major Applewhite. Different guy. ABC News anchor Diane Sawyer and her team revisits the case in a new 2-hour special, The Mystery and Madness of Heaven's Gate, which airs tonight. The special probes the secrets and backstory of Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, known as T and Doe to their devotees. Sawyer conducted an interview in 1997 with Rio D'Angelo, a member who exited the group prior to the suicides to serve as, quote, a messenger to the world. Wow, did she draw the long straw? She got that's... So there's this one, so of all the people that had to kill themselves, one of them got to survive. And that's this lady. She was the messenger. She was supposed to tell the world exactly what had happened. She exited the group prior to the suicides to serve as a messenger to the world. More than 2 decades later, she sits down with him again, along with other... Oh, it's a him. It's not a her. Rio. I thought that was a chick's name, but it's not. Sits down with her and other former members and loved ones of followers who perished in the suicides. My guess is 3/4 of the people never stepped foot out the door, and I was one of them. Janet Gibson's, a former Heaven's Gate member, tells Sawyer during an exclusive look inside the Southern California mansion where the cult leaders and followers poisoned themselves. There probably wasn't even any open windows, Gibbons added. Okay, I don't care about this. What I do care about is the whole phenomenon of cults. I have always fancied myself a potential cult leader. I just always wanted to be the leader of a cult. And it would be a good cult. It wouldn't be... Kelly and I used to talk about this all the time. And I think maybe that's why it never worked out, that we were never truly able to get a good cult going. Because I think to have success with a cult, you have to do things and put things out that attract completely crazy people. And that's not, I didn't want crazy people in my cult. I don't want, that's no fun. I don't want, sure, being around a couple of crazy people could be fun, sporadically, but you don't want to live with crazy people. So I don't want that. And I'm not crazy myself, although I do want to run a cult. I just want to run a situation where I get a whole bunch of people. Like, let's say I just get me and 30 people. And let's just say these 30 people just decide that they're going to devote every breath of their life to me. I mean, that's not a big ask, but it's something, and I'll be cool about it. I promise not to try and have sex with your wives. That's the other thing about our cult. There's not going to be any weird sex stuff in our cult, which, certain people have said, well, that's a reason, people join sex cults because they think that there's going to be sex. Nah, not in my cult. Our cult is just going to be, we all live in like a commune. I have the best place, and you guys all go to work and you do your job. I'm not going to make you stop your careers. You gotta leave your families though. I don't want you. That's why single people. What do single people in this cult? Well, now you're just asking for crazy sex. I know. Look, if it happens, I'm not a prude. People can have sex if they want. I'm not going to be like a sex Nazi. I'm just saying that you don't have to have sex with people to be in the cult. If you don't want to have sex, you don't have to. You don't. Me, I don't. Don't bother me. I'm not going to be having sex with your wives. That's not a part. That's not a pre-existing condition of this whole little thing. But I'm going to stay in the mansion. You guys are going to pay for everything. And essentially, we're going to watch TV as a group, and it's only going to be shit that I want to watch, and it'll be good. That's it. That'll be the cult. We'll have fun. I don't know why I haven't been able to get that off the ground, but it's never really taken off. But that would be fun. I would love to be just imagine just being a regular guy. Like this guy, Marshall Applewhite, he was just a dork. He was just a normal, everyday dork. And somehow the path of his life led to him being exalted by a group of crazy people as, somebody who's important. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Most dudes have to have like a successful radio show, to be like that level of cult leadery. But, not Marshall. Marshall just went with some crazy people. Can you really call it a cult if there's no weird sex stuff and people get to continue their normal outside lives? Sounds more like a meetup group to me. Well, a meetup group where they pay all my bills and we all hang out together and I'm like the boss. That's pretty much it. And you're right. You're absolutely right, Jeff. That's been a big question over the years that we've put this cult idea out there. Is it really a cult, or is it just me forcing people to pay all my bills, and we live in a big extravagant house, and we walk around in matching jumpsuits. That was it. We had to have matching jumpsuits. Like, you can go outside the house and you can wear normal stuff, but there would be like this white tented walkway before you walk into the house with lockers, and you'd have to like totally do like a change of clothes. You put your street clothes in the locker, and then you put on the jumpsuit, and when you walk, I just like the idea of everybody. Oh, and that's right. It wasn't a jumpsuit. It was like, it was a bathrobe. It was everybody had to just wear like sweatpants and a bathrobe, and then they come in and we watch TV, and we eat a lot of cereal. That was another part of it. I remember it was a lot of big giant bowls with cereal and big giant spoons. It was a fun cult. It was a cult that was designed for people who just wanted to give up on the outside world and wanted to be a part of something. Hey, you got kids all the time that join street gangs. There's like murder and crime involved in that. My cult, appeals to the same kind of people. Ross says, what would you offer your followers? Got to offer something. Oh, eternal, what is it? That when they die, they go to heaven. That's what it is. Ross, that's what I'm offering. It doesn't matter what you do on the outside world. You join this cult, pay all my bills, let me watch whatever I want, refill my cereal bowl, and you get to go to heaven. That's it. That's it. Tell me that's the same, right? Why can't I promise that? Of course I can promise that. So if you join the cult, you're guaranteed to go to heaven. And that's about it. So, out there, without being in the cult, I don't know who's guaranteeing you. Who's guaranteeing you heaven? I am. I'm going to guarantee it. Join my cult. Give me all your money. Live in my house. Work out a schedule so that somebody can do dishes and the yard work and all that kind of stuff. And I'll spend, now granted, cult people, I will spend most of my time in my gigantic master bedroom with the big screen TV. But I'll come down. I'll come down for more cereal. I'll come down, say hi. Actually, I'll come down when I have something to say. And that's the other part of it. There will be these meetings where we'll have a big meeting room, and I'll sit on a throne, and you'll all sit Indian style because that's the most uncomfortable way of sitting. And I just kind of like that power move. So you'll all sit in Indian style, and I'll be up on the throne, and then I'll just rant. Kind of like this, kind of like the stream. I'll just rant about stuff, and every day we'll call it a sermon, but really it'll be about the guys down the block and the weather, and it'll just be about stuff like that. We're not going to get into any crazy religious stuff. That's the other thing. You can still be whatever religion you want to be, but those can't guarantee you eternal salvation. I can. I will. I guarantee you eternal salvation. You just got to listen to me rant. And we all walk around in bathrobes and eat cereal and watch TV. Sounds good to me. All right. Who's in? Who's in? Crisscross applesauce, now Pugs. You racist. Okay, I don't know what that means. Guarantee great conversation. What more can you ask for? That's right, Al. That's right. We will have some very colorful conversations, and I'll encourage debate amongst you guys, because then I'll walk around with my big bowl of cereal. And that's the other thing. So you'll have these like moments where you all have to hang out and talk about stuff, and you all have to talk about different topics. And then I'll just walk around like I'm at a cocktail party. I'll move from like group to group, and I'll just walk around and I'll listen to what you're talking about. And if it interests me, I'll stay and I'll engage. But if it doesn't, I'll move on. And if I move on from the conversation that you've chosen to hold, you'll be shamed. You'll feel so bad. Oh my God, I really thought he'd be interested in the Formula One talk. He's been watching that Netflix series and he just moved on. I just think it's cool to be in a cult. No death, none of that stuff. You know what? If you have kids, you can bring kids like once a week. Like once a week, we'll have a kids' day where they can all play. That's fine. That's fine. It's never going to work out, though. No one is ever going to take me up on my cool ass cult. Major League Baseball is trending because baseball is back, baby. Yesterday, I'm going to take credit for the end of the baseball lockout, because yesterday on the show, I was talking about how the Russian-Ukrainian negotiations were making about as much progress as the Major League Baseball owners and the Players Association. And then like an hour later, the Players Association and the Major League Baseball owners settle their disputes, and we've got baseball. I can't tell you how excited I am about baseball this year. I am very excited about baseball. I'm very excited about baseball because my team of my youth is very good, and we're going to be very good. And although I don't like that all the national media is saying that we're number 3 in the heading into the preseason spring training power rankings, I don't like that. I like being the guys coming from behind. I like being the guys that nobody's thinking about. I don't like that, suddenly people are acknowledging that my team is good. But we'll forget about that. I'll tell you what I'm excited about. I'm excited about the Texas Rangers. I am this year going to go full on into Texas Rangers baseball. I know that they've been the strangers for a number of years, and I know that they've sucked, and we can't get past, what happened back in 2010, 2011. It's been a long decade of just me. This team is looking good, man. This team has some pieces in place. This team, the Texas Rangers right now, are where my White Sox were 2 years ago. 2-3 years ago. They have got they have been stocking up the minor leagues. They have been trading away big time players, and they've been just acquiring minor league superstars who are just matriculating through the system. It is an exciting time. I'm no shill for the Texas Rangers. I'm not, but it is absolutely an exciting time. What would we call this? Would we call this year 2 of the rebuild? I think we would call it year 2 of the rebuild, because last year's, did the rebuild start with when they got rid of Lance Lynn, when it was when you acquired Dane Dunning, who me as a White Sox fan, we really didn't want to see Dane Dunning go because he's going to be good. And he has been good. Hell, he was good for us. And we were like, but we need the big bastard. So we went and got Lance Lynn, and that's worked out fine. He's but man, I'm telling you. Oh, and the free agent pickups. We got superstars on the Rangers. I still could use an arm or two, and that'll be fine. We've got young arms in the system, and they're going to be fine. They're just not ready yet. I'm telling you, everybody who turns their nose up at the Texas Rangers, I think you're going to see some really fun, young, spirited baseball. Let's see here. Major League Baseball owners and players reached an agreement yesterday on a new collective bargaining agreement. Once ratified, the season will start April 7th. Increased minimum salaries are expected to be a part of the new CBA that will be in place for 5 years. Other changes agreed to include universal designated hitter, which I applaud, obviously. But there is also a part of me that I kind of enjoyed that National League Baseball would grind to a halt when some pitcher was forced to come up in the middle of a rally, and he would just sit there with the bat on his shoulder for 3 consecutive strikes, and that's it. Bases loaded. He strikes out on 3 pitches. As an American League fan, I always went, whenever that would happen. Like, there's your National League Baseball for you. But look, the game is dying. This is a fact. The game of baseball is dying. And you purists, I hear this purist argument. I don't like the universal DH because I'm a purist. Yeah, well, I bet black players also irritate you too, Mr. Purist. How pure are you with baseball? Do you want to go back to the days when it was... Baseball has changed every generation. Stop it. Nothing says you're turning into an old man quite like leaning into the purity of baseball. Baseball is dying. It is... My God, the NBA is bigger than baseball. Obviously, football is bigger than baseball. Baseball is baseball bigger than hockey? I mean, WNBA. I mean, baseball used to be America's pastime, and now it's like, wah, wah, wah. Me, I love baseball. Baseball is my number 1 sport. I love baseball. I love the peace and tranquility of sitting and watching 9 innings of baseball. There is nothing better to do on a summer afternoon than to just relax and watch a baseball game. Now, I understand that other people, they don't have this affinity towards the great sport that I do. And that's fine. That's good. I also love football. Football is, without doubt, there's not even a debate about it. Football's more exciting, moves faster. There's more stuff going on. But come on, guys, save baseball. Get on board. My 12-year-old who loves baseball, well, he loves the Chicago White Sox because he's been indoctrinated since he was a little kid to love the White Sox. And, the whole rebuild has basically coincided with him becoming more aware of what's happening. So he's invested in the rebuild of the Chicago White Sox. But he doesn't like the Rangers. He doesn't pay any attention to the Rangers. He pays attention to one team because the sport in and of itself hasn't grabbed my kid. Because unless my kid has and he's got a bunch of jerseys of White Sox players. So unless he's got the jerseys or some cards or a poster, like he's got a poster of Jose Abreu, all those kinds of things. Unless he has those things, he's not interested. Like, so he's not going to watch a Texas Rangers, California Angels game. He ain't going to know any of the players. He's going to be, How do we change that? We need to make the game more exciting. We need to make little changes. And everybody, the runner on second base during the pandemic year was awful. Was it really? Was it really? Because I'm telling you, there ain't nothing worse than a 15-inning ball game. There is nothing. Can we do something to speed up the game? The game of baseball must be sped up. Shut up, purists. Your purity is destroying the game. It must move forward. I'm working on this book, this book about the Chicago White Sox that I've been contracted to do. And I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of days working on specifically the 1904 Chicago White Sox team. You're a baseball purist. Do you have any idea the rules of baseball in 1904? They were nothing like they were today. The game has always changed. The games have always been. I just did a thing on a guy by the name of Ed Walsh. I just wrote a bio and a storyline for Big Ed Walsh, who was probably the greatest pitcher of his era. The dude is the last pitcher in Major League Baseball to win 40 games. He won 40 games. I don't know why starting pitchers don't pitch every single day. I'm a baseball purist. I want starting pitchers to pitch every single day. The game has always changed. And do you know what Ed Walsh is, who was absolutely unhittable? You know what Big Ed Walsh's pitches were? He had a spitball that was totally legal, that no one could see. He was absolutely unhittable. He had a spitball, and he had another thing called an emery ball, which, he would basically on the mound pull out an emery board and just start going on the ball, and he'd throw it, and he'd strike people out. Oh boy, when they changed those rules, when they said the emery ball and the spitball were outlawed by the league, there were a bunch of guys in their 50s who called themselves purists who were like, no. I don't know. Baseball needs to change. Baseball needs to change. We need to somehow make it more exciting for kids. And you may not like it, but you're not a kid anymore. And the damn sport is dying. All right, I've seen Tom. Tom is my baseball buddy. What's Tom saying? I wanted DH to go too. The National League was the only baseball organization in the world without a DH. Oh, Tom, look at you. Tom, nobody is as big a Chicago Cub fan as my buddy Tom Beller. Tom Beller is a baseball, I'm not going to say fanatic, but he's certainly a guy who sits down on a Tuesday night and looks forward to watching 9 innings of Cubs baseball, and he's been doing it his entire life. So you're telling me, Tom, the baseball purist, I would have figured Tom was a purist. You are telling me that you are for the designated hitter coming to the National League. And as a Cub fan, come on, man. Aren't you going to love to see 50 more timely home runs sailing out of Wrigley Field? I mean, come on. Wrigley Field was built for the DH. Wrigley Field is going to be a rockin' with the DH. Absolutely for it. Good to know, Tom, because I know that you're a guy who truly loves baseball. And again, these Cubs, because I'm talking about a lot of the purists are my Cub fan friends who are just like, I don't like change. Get off my lawn. I don't like change. And I'm like, good Lord, if my team played in Wrigley Field, I'd have been campaigning for the DH for decades, because this team's, their home run total is going to go up. They're going to 200 home runs. They'll hit 250. They're going to hit it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And it's not that big of a change, man. Takes all the strategy out of the game. Oh, yeah? What strategy? Give me some, what kind of strategy, what kind of traditional baseball strategy are you a fan of? The shift? Is that one of your old, I remember back in the 1930s when old Cap Anson and Kid Gleason would battle over the shift. Half the shit we see in baseball is new. Anyway, it's changing. You got to embrace the change. We got to save the sport. And the sport will continue this summer. Baseball is back. I can talk baseball forever. I love me some baseball. And I hope you appreciate me being able to name drop a Kid Gleason and a Cap Anson. That's right. That's right. I can name a whole bunch of old-timey managers. Let's see, what else do we have here? St. Pat's Parade. This is trending. St. Pat's Parade is trending all over the place. Why? Because for the first time in 2 years, most major American cities are bringing their St. Patrick's Day Parade. This is St. Pat's weekend. St. Pat's is it's middle of next week, so you can't really go nuts. So traditionally, the weekend that precedes the actual day of St. Patrick's Day is the day when all the big cities in America have their St. Pat's parties and their St. Pat's parades and all that kind of stuff. I have nothing. Speaking of Tom, we got Tom here. Oh boy. Tom and I know about the Southside Irish Parade. Oh boy, the Chicago St. Patrick's Day Parade. Chicago has two. They got like the city parade. That's the big one. No. They got the city parade. That's the official one that happens in downtown, and they dye the river green, and it's all this and it's all that, and tourists and people from all over, they come to that. Then there's the Southside Parade. Then there's the Southside Irish Parade in Chicago, which is a whole other animal. That is that. Well, here. I got a little thing for you. I will show you the traditional end of the Southside of Chicago St. Patrick's Day Parade. Here it is. This is this it? Yeah. All right. There you go. This is okay. Let's pull this up, and I will show you. This is me and Tom's. This is our neighborhood parade for St. Patrick's Day. It is massive. Hundreds of thousands of people. 500,000 people, they're saying they're expected this year. And this is how you know it's time to go home. Well, the police have showed up. Oh, there's more coming. Trust me. There's probably 200 drunk Catholic schoolboys throwing down in a parking lot. There they come. Parade's over, boys. Yep. Yeah, we need more. Where's the wagons? You're going to need some paddy wagons. Oh, here they come. Do you know why it's called a paddy wagon? Because it's where you put drunk Irish people. Here comes one paddy wagon. Two paddy. Everybody's going to jail. There's another cop. Comes another wagon. And there is one last guy. And that is the traditional way that the Southside Irish Parade ends on the south side of Chicago. But I'm going to the Dallas one tomorrow, and I can tell you, certainly I have sentimental attachment to my neighborhood parade, as I've been going to it since 18, 19 years old. Even got taken there once when I was a young kid, when I was like 12 or 13. But I didn't get to do any drinking then. I didn't do any of that. That was just but yeah, it used to be. I have real sentimental attachment to that parade. Just being, you wake up at 8:00 in the morning, the night before you're out drinking, and everybody's making their plan. You're in the bar. You're like, okay, we'll wake up at 8, and we're gonna meet in the Handy Andy parking lot, and then we'll all walk over from there. And then you'd go over and you'd hit all of the bars. You never saw the parade. I never saw the parade. I would see the parade from a crowded bar. I'd look out the front windows and I'd see you'd hear all of that and you'd see it go by out the window, but I never stood and watched the parade. That's not what it was about. This day was about drinking to excess. This day was about running into people that you went to high school with who you hadn't seen in years. This day was about watching drunk people. So I have a sentimental attachment to that. But I will tell you, coming up the rear, the Dallas Greenville parade, man. Woo! I had some fun at that too. This town, don't let anybody tell you different. This town can do a St. Patrick's Day parade now. I am 100% Irish, and I like to think that I am expert level St. Pat's Day parade guy. I can tell you that this Dallas Greenville Avenue St. Patrick's Day parade can go chest to chest with any municipal parade in the entire United States. Although I'm going to take my kid tomorrow. I'm taking my kid, so we ain't going to be doing anything crazy. We're literally just going to be watching. We're just going to be watching things, and we've been watching people and, all that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited. Yes. So St. Patrick's Day Parade returns to American cities across America after a 2-year hiatus. Parades expected in New York City, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, we got to mention, Los Angeles, San Francisco, as well as hundreds of other towns across the United States. Waukesha is having their St. Patrick's Day parade. Waukesha, of course, they haven't had a parade since the Christmas Lights Festival, where there was that tragedy. Remember that? Remember the guy, the piece of garbage guy who committed a crime and was running from the police, and then turned down a street that had been closed off for a parade. And then he just started running people over because he figured, well, I'm in it now. I may as well just hit people. Bad decisions, brother. Bad decisions. Lock them up, throw away the key. So there you go. So, hey, you guys want to go to the St. Pat's Day parade tomorrow? Hit me up. Hit me up on the Facebook or whatever, and we can meet somewhere if we want to go. I'm gonna be with my kid though, so and I can't. I don't know how long we're gonna be there because I'm not gonna be drinking. I mean, I might have a beer. I would have a beer. But you can't. Then we'd have to go into a bar. I don't know if I'm going to be going into a bar with my 12-year-old. It's just going to be this whole weekend for my kid. Oh, it's going to be stupid expensive. I'm going to spend money at this stupid parade. Dad, I want, it's going to be like that. Ugh. Okay, whatever. This is all a part of his education. This is all a part of his heritage. This is all a part of him learning about his culture, because as we talked about on Pillow Talk the other night, this state doesn't really embrace the individual cultures unless you're Mexican. If you're Mexican, then you're very proud to be Mexican and you hold near and dear to your Mexican culture. But it's not like, I always say, I run into people, what are you? Someone from Texas, what are you? What are you, like Italian? What are you, German, Ukrainian? What are you? I can't tell. And 9 times out of 10 people who were raised in Texas will go, what? I'm American. Texan? Huh? No, I mean, like, where did your family? We're all immigrants. All of us white people in this country. We all at some point or another came from somewhere else. Do you know? Oh no, yeah, we don't know. I think my mom once said that we got a little Italian. Wait a second, you're an Italian and you're not like, hey, I'm Italian. That's different. So I'm trying to make sure that my kid has a well-tethered relationship with his cultural Irish roots. And then it all starts tomorrow. Actually, who you kidding? Then I'll start. It's not going to start tomorrow. It's been going on for 10 years now. First song that my son could ever sing. The first song, he's like 2 years old. The first song he could ever sing was the Southside Irish song, which is a drinking song. It's a bar song. Yeah, my son learned a bar song. That was like his first. Other kids are learning Rafi songs. My kid learned a beer drinking song. It's just how we roll. Sam Jackson is trending. This will be the last one that we'll do here. Sam Jackson is trending. Why is Sam Jackson trending? Well, he got name checked during the Jussie Smollett situation yesterday. Sam Jackson's wife, LaTanya Jackson, wrote a letter on behalf of Jussie Smollett asking for mercy from the court. And she said that it was signed herself and her husband, Samuel L. Jackson. But that's not why Sam Jackson is trending now. Sam Jackson is trending because he calls bullshit on a new poll that has ranked celebrities, movie stars. Basically, here is it. Samuel L. Jackson calls bullshit after Jonah Hill is named actor with the most on-screen profanity. So they did this list of people profanity. What actors have swore the most in film? And Jonah Hill won. And Samuel L. Jackson is like, what? What the hell you mean Jonah Hill won? Sam Jackson's unofficial favorite word and official trademark is mother effer. Of course, right? I mean, when you think anybody who does a Sam Jackson impersonation uses the word mother effer. However, when he learned about an on-screen profanity ranking that placed Jonah Hill at number 1, Jackson addressed a few concerns. Let's see. He became in at number 3 on the list. Jonah Hill was number 1. Number 2, Leonardo DiCaprio. Sam Jackson says, "That's some bullshit," Jackson said jokingly. Jonah Hill apparently had 376 cuss words in movie history, while Leonardo DiCaprio had 361. Jackson himself has only 301 cuss words. Denzel Washington also made the list with 183. Jackson continued to express his disbelief by saying, "No way, man. No way. Jonah Hill? Really? And then Leo? Jonah Hill, then Leo. I don't believe that. Somebody's miscounted." Maybe his many uses of the word mother effer weren't counted individually, but who knows? The two men. Okay, so there you go. So he's got a problem with that. Sam Jackson, he's got a problem with it. All right, I think that's it. You know what? Let's check. Let's do a quick run through and let's see if there's anything that I have missed. What is trending now? Anything that has popped up in the 2 hours and 20 minutes that we've been streaming here this afternoon? Let's see. Yeah, I think you're right, Adam. Wolf of Wall Street, that Jonah Hill, a lot of swearing. So, earthquake is trending. Was there an earthquake? Or what is it trending for? Why is earthquake trending? Okay, so it looks like there was a small earthquake in Baja, California. All right, but it's trending. People on Twitter from California, they get earthquake trending the slightest thing. And you're always worried. It's like, oh, is this a big one? And then it turns out, it's not really a big one. It's just people in California, they felt the ground shake. They got to tell the world, I don't know why I live here. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else that is a trend? And anything a trend in? What? Huh? Okay, so yesterday we talked about Grimes. You know, Grimes. Grimes is the weird Star Trek music person. Star Trek. She does like sci-fi music. She does like weird electronica that's steeped in like sci-fi imagery and all of that kind of stuff. She's Canadian. And she's Elon Musk's former girlfriend. She's got 2 kids with Elon Musk. Grimes. Apparently, Grimes is now dating Chelsea Manning. Do you remember Chelsea Manning? Is it Chelsea Manning? Chelsea Manning is like the trans woman. Okay, we got to read this. We got to figure it out. Chelsea Manning was a United States Army dude who got in trouble for espionage, or I don't know, he was accused of doing something, WikiLeaks, something like that. He did something wrong and they put him in jail. And then while he was in jail, he transitioned. And now Chelsea Manning, I don't even know the old name. What's his name? Like Charles Manning before or something? I don't know, but now it's Chelsea. So Grimes, who has 2 kids with Elon Musk, is now apparently dating Chelsea Manning. Boy, that's a good get. So who's this guy that's paying you all this money every month? My new girlfriend? The richest man in the world? Okay, yeah, I'm not going to break up with you. We're going to stay together. Billionaire Elon Musk's ex-girlfriend, singer Grimes, is allegedly dating infamous whistleblower Chelsea Manning. This according to a report published Friday. Grimes, 33, announced on social media Thursday that she and Musk had split after the birth of their second child, Exa Dark Sidrael. The outlet reported Friday that Grimes is now dating the 34-year-old Manning. They're getting serious. They U-hauled it. I don't know what that means. A source told the outlet. They've been living together in Austin. The source claimed that Manning continues to keep an apartment in Brooklyn, but that the relationship is moving very fast. So think about this. So Chelsea Manning was just some dude in the Army, some dude who just joined the Army. and then becomes famous, goes to jail, forgive me, I'm unfamiliar with the details, but certainly was one of these people that Fox News hated, right? Like, the Fox News, Chelsea Manning's bad. I don't even know. I don't even know what it's about. But so this person goes to jail for whistleblowing. Apparently did something with WikiLeaks. Again, I don't care. I don't know. All I know is it was a normal person who was in the Army. And now this person is a woman with an apartment in Brooklyn and a home in Austin, dating the girlfriend of the wealthiest man in the world. Apparently whistleblowing pays off. I mean, would you trade like a couple of years in prison to be able to have an apartment in Brooklyn? And I don't know. It seems like things are working well for Chelsea. Seems like things are going well. Manning and Grimes have interacted openly on Twitter over the past several months, including one December tweet when Grimes wrote, "Celebrity culture is suffocating as F. I'm not quitting music, but changing my main day job after book." Well, you can do that, Grimes. You don't have to keep up the grind. You don't have to keep up the Grimes grind because you've got 2 kids by the richest man in the world. So I am guessing, based on what Kelly Clarkson had to give her ex-husband, that you're going to be set up pretty well. Manning, who's trans and a former U.S. Army intelligence analyst, leaked classified documents to WikiLeaks. Manning served 7 years in military prison before a majority of the sentence was commuted in the final days of former President Barack Obama's administration. Oh, that must be why Fox News hates him, because it has something to do with Obama. All right, so that's interesting. We don't know if that's true. But hey, it is trending. Nothing. Flip Wilson. Why is Flip Wilson trending? Flip Wilson as Geraldine. And whatever. Sometimes things just trend randomly. Adam Reyna loves Grimes music because nobody else can name one Grimes song. Of course, Adam Reyna loves Grimes music. Of course. Adam Reyna only likes music that only he can speak on. It's part of being a contrarian. Yeah, anything that anyone else likes musically has got to suck. And I bet you Adam Reyna despises Bryan Adams. Just going out on a limb there. Of course he does. But he loves Grimes. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that you are a music guy. You have always been an eclectic music guy. I've actually deferred to Adam a few times, asked him about his music. But of course he likes Grimes. Of course. All right, I got nothing else. We got nothing going on here. Hold on. Let me see here. All right, I just got a little message. That's fine. Gonna do a couple of things here around the Comfort Nest guest house, and then I'm going to go pick up my kid, and I want you all to have a good weekend, okay? Have a good weekend. Have fun. We'll rally back here on Monday. That's the next scheduled show, but as always, if there is some kind of a situation that occurs, some kind of big breaking news, I will jump in and try and do some live coverage of it. Had an aborted attempt at that yesterday afternoon with the Jussie Smollett. I thought they were about to sentence him, and then it turned into another 3 hours of just nothing, so I had to bail out on that. That wasn't good. Okay, there you go. Once again, if you can support the show in any way possible, be a good week to kind of get ahead of that, just so that I'm not behind the 8 ball like I was last week. We get no donations in 8 days. Tiffany last week. Tiffany came through. Thank you, Tiffany. But that's it. I mean, it's like the show's got to raise $10-15 a day. we haven't raised anything. Not made anything. So, but again, I have a situation that could change all that in the next couple of weeks. We will find out. So we'll be able to stop trying to raise money to pay the monthly bills. As my hope is to be able to do this free of charge. So if you can donate and help out the show, that'd be great. No pressure. Nope, no pressure now because it's only the 11th of the month. But if you can help out, save us a lot of pressure there at the end of the month. Tomorrow is a better day. The best is yet to come. I got nothing else. I'm out. It's cold. It's cold out, right? What is the temperature right now?
I have got an old guitar. That is all I need.
It's all I need. It's all I need. Can this be right? Can it be 33 degrees out right now? Yeah, it looks like it is 33 degrees out right now. Jeez. Tomorrow it's going to be 60 and sunny for the parade, so that's good. It's rainy. It's sloppy out. Oof. Whatever. All right. That's it. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And rally back here Monday at noon. That is our set appointment for more high noon topics, and all that good stuff. Have a great weekend, folks. Love y'all. It's going good. It's going good. He says it's understood.
Far from the
comfort nest of love.
I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.